The Legion of Soldiers, the strongest civilization for hire. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51 Angel Chase. Go faster. Didn't you have enough lunch at noon? And you, what are you thinking about? Can't you see such an obvious fake move? He made a mistake. With such a big offensive gap, you didn't attack? What are you thinking about? Are you acting in a training match? As soon as Chen entered the training ground, he heard Nagusa scolding the members of the royal team. Since all the members of the royal team are second-level super soldiers, general training is not conducted through virtual platforms. In Nagusa's words, these guys will go to the battlefield sooner or later, and it is impossible for them to be members of the team forever. Only combat training conducted in reality can really play a role. Nagusa. Chen called her. No need to call me. I will know as soon as you come. Nagusa said this without turning her head. As an envoy of the demon civilization, she does not need to give Chen any face. How are their recent training results? Not bad. Nagusa stretched. But they haven't reached their limit yet. She added, only by experiencing a life-and-death battle can one reach the true limit. Chen said, this is different. For mortal bodies, facing the oppression of death, they will exert their potential to the extreme and reach their own limits. After ordinary people reach their limits, or even break through their limits, they can easily use those powers and wisdom. But it is different for super soldiers. Their limits are not determined by their bodies, but by the technology of their civilization. What they need is knowledge and experience. They need to know how to push their own functions to the extreme, which requires them to understand all the knowledge points of the equipment on their bodies. They also need to know through experience how to use the least energy to push their weapons to the maximum power. They need to know how to use the computing power in their genetic calculators, because this computing power is not brought by their brains. It is brought by their genetic calculators. I can easily wipe them out because I can push the capabilities of the second-generation super soldiers' genetic calculators to the extreme, but they may only be able to use 20% or 30%. They still need to keep learning, keep understanding, and keep fighting, Nagusa said as she looked at the team members who were training on the platform. In fact, Chen knew all that she said. When he implanted the super soldier gene, he chose to reject the hypnotic gas, just to make himself reach the limit of the super soldier gene faster. In the previous life, Chen's scientists did calculations. After an ordinary soldier uses hypnotic gas, it takes 3 years to completely master the genes of the first generation of super soldiers. It takes another 5 years to master the genes of the second generation of super soldiers, 8 years to master the genes of the third generation of super soldiers, 12 years to master the genes of the fourth generation of super soldiers, and 18 years to master the genes of the fifth generation of super soldiers. It takes even longer to wait for the genes of the god body level. An ordinary person suddenly mastered the genes of the fourth generation of god bodies, just like in the previous life, the leader of the Blue Star Camp, the Galaxy Power, Xiaolun. It took him 3 years to make his computing power reach the level of the first generation of god bodies, and it took him another 100 years to really use his computing power to the level of the fourth generation of god bodies, and his physical strength actually reached the level of the fourth generation of god bodies in just 5 years. But facing Hu Yi, the former Angel King, who became the fourth generation god body with the power of the void after receiving the help of Karl, the Lord of the Death God civilization, he didn't even have the ability to resist. It's only a short time since they became super soldiers, and they still need time to grow. Chen said, but you should know that you don't have time to wait for them to grow. Nagusa suddenly said this, your civilization has accepted the protection of our demon civilization. If that were the case, the angel civilization might not have crossed such a long distance to come and wipe out your civilization. After all, to get here, they need to cross the territories of 2 level 9 civilizations. But I can see that you are not a person who can sit still. Your civilization has already conquered a civilization not long ago. Once a civilization embarks on the path of aggression, it will be impossible to stop. Whether it is accepting the protection of our demon civilization or pursuing an aggressive development method, it is something that the angel civilization cannot tolerate, not to mention that your research path of implanting technological weapons in your body and replacing your cells with nanocells is even more in conflict with the philosophy of the angel civilization. They believe in the uniqueness of life and the uniqueness of the body. It can be said that your civilization is going against the doctrines of the angel civilization everywhere. Once they discover your civilization, they will directly regard you as an evil species. They will not even care about the expressions of the two 9-star civilizations and will forcibly wipe out your civilization. You don't have much time. After hearing what Nagusa said, Chen frowned. Theoretically, with such a long distance, unless our civilization has reached the level of a divine body, they shouldn't turn their eyes here. But what if there is something here that they are interested in? Nagusa looked back at Chen, with a strange smile on her face. Chen's heart suddenly started to ring with alarm bells. He looked at Nagusa and suddenly remembered that she had mentioned inadvertently that she had been chased and intercepted by the angel civilization during her return to the demon civilization and the process of returning to the earth from the demon civilization. You don't want to tell me that you have the mark of the angel civilization on your body? A drop of cold sweat dripped from Chen's forehead. Nagusa's expression suddenly became a little awkward. In fact, I didn't find it myself, but when my gene calculator was checking my body yesterday, it suddenly found something wrong. Chen panicked all of a sudden. He had never thought of this after all his calculations. Ha 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 ha. Looking at Chen's expression, Nagusa suddenly laughed. I'm kidding, why are you so nervous? Chen looked at Nagusa, who was laughing heartlessly, and felt angry and amused. But what they didn't know was that at this moment, in the Ikaru star region, a female angel wearing silver armor and with blonde hair suddenly came here through a space wormhole. The mark left on her space device appeared here and then disappeared. It seems that this place is very close to her location. The angel looked at the environment around her. The Ikaru star region is only 2 star regions away from the Aluo star region where Chen is. But if we want to continue the search here, I'm afraid we still need to obtain the unification of the two civilizations. Let's communicate with Commander Yen first. Chapter 52, Space Empire. After conquering the Demon Slayer Alliance, no civilization in the active universe dared to join forces to deal with the Shura Civilization. Now the expansion of the Shura Civilization in the active universe is almost unimpeded, and it is a situation where the Krypton Gold bosses beat the little white players. At the same time, in the main universe, the Shura Civilization finally has a qualified 3rd-level civilization force. 12,000 3rd-level space battleships, 50,000 2nd-level space battleships, and 30,000 1st-level space battleships that have gradually entered the elimination stage. After those 1st-level space battleships are eliminated, they will be used as exclusive transport ships for the Shura Civilization in the future. At the same time, through the purchases in the limited time all in the past few months, Chen already has 3 2nd-level civilization technology trees. Chen plans to officially launch the ecological star construction project. In his previous life, he always had such an idea in his mind, but due to the lack of resources and strength, he has never been able to implement it. That is to build a cosmic empire. The 9-level NPC civilizations in the entire universe have not chosen to establish an interstellar force like the cosmic empire. Although they all have the sphere of influence of several large star fields, their position is not that of rulers, but more inclined to the position of alliance leader. However, Chen knew that it would be difficult to gather the power of all the civilizations under his command. Just like the Death God civilization had sent Daddy civilization and other civilizations to the war during the invasion of the solar system. Although those civilizations obeyed the command of the Death God, however, their ultimate goal was for their own interests. They kept saying, I am Karl and you are only worthy of smelling Karl's fart. If Karl, the god of death, could not give them enough benefits, then Karl, the god of death, would become a fart in their eyes. In the war of invading the solar system, the Tati civilization did many stupid things without the permission of Karl, the god of death, just for its own interests. To establish a diversified cosmic empire, to twist the power of all the civilizations under his command together, and to advance and retreat together for the interests of all people. This is what Chen wants to do now. The transformation plan of the ecological star has now been fully handed over to Shura by Chen. Shura's abilities in all aspects are now the strongest among all the commanders of the Shura Civilization, and Xingfeng, the first general under Chen in his previous life, has just joined the army and needs to go through a long period of tempering. Under Fate's leadership, the researchers unlocked two branch technologies. One is the first-level branch technology, Chain Ring, which belongs to the single-soldier mechanical classification. When multiple super soldiers with chain rings stay together, a special magnetic field will be formed between the chain rings. This magnetic field can form a special energy shield. The more chain rings there are, the stronger the energy shield will be. If there are 1,000 super soldiers equipped with first-level chain rings together, the energy shield they produce can even withstand the artillery impact of the third-level space battleship. As the level of the chain ring continues to increase, the strength of the energy shield it can bring will become stronger. Now, because it has not reached the level of divine body civilization, super soldiers cannot fight in the universe. But once the Shura Civilization enters the divine body level civilization, the chain ring will help the Shura Civilization's divine body army become the nightmare of all enemies. The cost of the chain ring is not high. According to the accident given by the Academy of Sciences, it only takes half a year for all the super soldiers of the civilization to be equipped with chain rings. The second branch technology is the second-level branch technology, Light Wings, which is also a single-soldier mechanical development path. Every super soldier equipped with light wings has the ability to fly. Not only that, light wings will not consume the energy in the super soldier's body, but can absorb the energy in the universe to replenish the energy of the super soldier. At the same time, light wings can also help heal injuries. As for why the light particles released by light wings can heal injuries, this can only be asked by researchers like Fate. Anyway, Chen doesn't know. The cost of light wings is relatively expensive, so after consultation between Chen and the research institute, it is believed that light wings will eventually only be deployed in the treatment troops, the guards and the most elite combat troops of the Shura Civilization. But even so, it will take a year to complete the deployment of all these troops. However, Chen is very satisfied with this. After all, in the previous life, due to the limitations of resources and manufacturing capabilities, the Moling civilization took 3 years to build only 2,000 light wings. Now the Shura Civilization only needs 1 year to produce 10,000 light wings and deploy 3 large-scale troops. Hey, the challenge is about to start. Your royal team is going to play. Don't you want to go and have a look? Nagusa suddenly appeared in Chen's office. What's so good about it? I believe in your coaching ability. Those teams that come to challenge were eliminated in the regular season. In the end, it's just a matter of how long they can last. There's no need to watch a game like this where the result is already determined. Chen didn't even raise his head, still looking at his files. No way, no way. How can you be so boring? Nagusa's eyes widened in disbelief. As a demon who advocates freedom and follows an unreliable boss like Morgana for many years, she couldn't imagine that a young king like Chen, who is only in his 20s, would be so boring. Chen is actually 28 years old, but he only has 1,000 years of memory from his previous life, so in Nagusa's eyes, he is just a young man in his 20s. As a king, you should act like a king, make people fear and respect you, so that your subordinates can thoroughly implement my orders and make the civilizations under your command dare not disobey them. TSK, boring guy. Nagusa rolled her eyes. Okay, you can do whatever you want. But, do you have any problems with the governance of the civilization you conquered before? Nagusa suddenly came in front of Chen, with a hint of danger in her eyes. The Shura Civilization almost took full control of the civilization it conquered before. There are naturally reasons why high-level civilizations do not establish cosmic empires. But Chen now directly wiped out their independent political system for that civilization. He even no longer recognized it as a civilization and only retained the name of their planet. So it goes without saying what Chen wants to do. This civilization has been conquered by us. How I want to govern it should have nothing to do with you." Chen stared straight into Nagusa's eyes. Chapter 53 Immigration and Appointment. "Of course we won't interfere, but I still want to give you a warning. Many interstellar empires have been born in the history of the universe. They developed very quickly, due to their strong cohesion. Their combat effectiveness is also very strong, but these empires eventually perished. No advanced civilization in the universe wants such an empire to be born. In the known universe today, although there are constant frictions between civilizations, among the advanced civilizations, except for the angel civilization and the demon civilization, no civilization is willing to start a war that will gamble the survival of both civilizations. Even though the angel civilization has now been tacitly recognized by almost all civilizations as the overlord of the universe, but this is in the interests of all advanced civilizations. The universe can be peaceful because every advanced civilization is unwilling to bear the cost of starting a war. Chen said calmly, "If they start a war, what they can gain is likely to be less than what they lose. If a cosmic empire like that appears, that cosmic empire will likely gain more than what they lose if it starts a war. This is why those civilizations don't want such an empire to appear. Am I right?" Chen looked at Nagusa. "Yes, you are right. So once a divine civilization establishes a cosmic empire, even if this civilization is only a level 6 civilization, the higher level civilizations in the universe will take action to destroy this empire. Your civilization is only a level 4 civilization now, and has not yet touched the sensitive lines of those higher level civilizations, but if they are discovered by those higher level civilizations, they will not mind destroying you." Nagusa stared at Chen, her tone very serious, changing her previous carefree appearance. "Ha ha 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 ha." Chen stood up and looked around. "That's why I chose your demon civilization to protect me. Why don't we go crazy for once?" A civilization goes from weak to strong. In the process of becoming stronger, won't I touch the interests of those higher level civilizations? Yes. If you want to really become stronger, the only way to become an empire is the most feasible. Chen certainly knew how dangerous it was to choose the path of the empire. Whether it was his 1,000 years of experience in his previous life or the known history of the universe he bought in the previous mall, they kept reminding him that if he chose to take this path, he would almost die. But this is the only way to reach the 9th or even 10th level of civilization within 1,000 years. Stop discussing this topic. You've been on the stage too many times recently. I'm getting tired of watching you. 3 months later, everyone. Chen stood on the high platform. Below him, a large number of soldiers, including the civil and military officials of the Shura Civilization, were all on high alert. At the same time, Chen's speech was also being broadcast live to the entire civilization. 2 years and 9 months have passed since our fleet first sailed out of the planet and headed for the boundless sea of stars. During this period, our military and civilian strength have been greatly improved. Today, our civilization has become the most powerful civilization among all the surrounding civilizations. At the same time, not long ago, we captured the Rainbow Civilization. Today, the Rainbow Civilization has become the Rainbow Star under the rule of our Shura Civilization, and we have also improved 3 ecological stars in the universe. We will start immigration in the near future. Except for Rainbow Star, the other 3 ecological stars have been uninhabited so far. Living there will not only provide free housing, but also many benefits. The specific details will be posted on various websites soon, so please pay more attention. In addition, our civilization will officially begin to establish legions in major galaxies and will no longer be organized in a scattered manner. Jiba, you are awarded the rank of Lieutenant General. From today, you will serve as the Commander-in-Chief of the Rainbow Star Guard. Renault, you are awarded the rank of Lieutenant General. From today, you will serve as the Commander-in-Chief of the Ecological Star Yongwang Star Guard. Hila, you are awarded the rank of Lieutenant General. From today, you are the commander of the Ecological Star Miracle Guard. Mubing, you are awarded the rank of Lieutenant General. From today, you are the commander of the Ecological Star Mingxuan Guard. Admiral Yunnuo, from today, you are the governor of the Shura Civilization affiliated Star General Guard Office. responsible for the overall defense of various planets. Admiral Himo, from today, you are the commander of the Silver Glory Corps, the 1st Legion of Shura Civilization. Admiral Yu, from today, you are the commander of the Light Blade Corps, the 2nd Legion of Shura Civilization. The defense forces of each affiliated star are equipped with 10,000 space battleships and 30,000 super soldiers. Yun Nuo's guard office is equipped with a total of 20,000 space battleships and 60,000 super soldiers. The Silver Glory and Light Blade Corps are equipped with 40,000 space battleships and 150,000 super soldiers respectively. In addition, there are 2 legions, the Imperial Guard and the Shura Star Guard. The Imperial Guard is not equipped with space battleships, but it has 10,000 super soldiers. The Shura Star Defense Force is equipped with 20,000 space battleships and 50,000 super soldiers. These are basically all the military forces of the Shura Civilization. In addition, all the current Gundam robots of the Shura Civilization, a total of 30,000 units, are evenly distributed to the 2 combat legions. And after the research of the Research Institute, they successfully created an exoskeleton mecha that allows ordinary soldiers to obtain combat capabilities close to super soldiers. The cost of this mecha is not high, and it can also be mass-produced by factories. 100,000 sets can be produced in a month, which can quickly fill the gap in the individual combat power of the Shura Civilization except for super soldiers. After doing so much, Chen ultimately has only one goal, that is to launch an invasion war. The big chalk has been put in front of Nagusa, so some things must be done. He has set the invasion goals for the 2 legions. The 2 civilizations that will be invaded are both civilizations that have had very unpleasant quarrels with Chen. One of them blocked Chen's army when he was about to occupy a resource star, and the other civilization tried to capture a resource star under Chen's command, but was defeated by Chen's defenders. The strength of these 2 civilizations is not weak, and they are also far away from the main center of Shura Civilization. Otherwise, they would not dare to provoke Shura Civilization. The speech and awarding ceremony made the people of Shura Civilization extremely excited. In particular, the 3 ecological stars officially opened immigration, which made many people of Shura Civilization want to go to other planets to take a look. And many people in the civilization who are not particularly well off are full of yearning for immigration. On the other hand, many of the first-class space battleships that were eliminated before were acquired by many companies in Shura Civilization. After all, these space battleships can not only transport goods and help them realize trade between planets, but some travel companies can also use these starships to open interstellar tourism services. Of course, all the equipment on these space battleships has been unloaded, and they are all empty shell transport ships without combat power. So far, Shura Civilization has truly started his journey to the Cosmic Empire. Chapter 54 Semifinals. Yun Feng, boss, I've been eliminated. 4 civilizations have joined forces to kill me. Chen, you were able to kill 100 civilizations, which was beyond my expectation. It's normal for you to be eliminated now. Yun Feng, no way, boss, am I so weak in your eyes? Chen, is it possible that you are very strong? Yun Feng, apostrophe. Chen, okay, I won't talk nonsense with you anymore. I have killed more than 5,000 civilizations now. The speed of conquering civilizations is getting faster and faster. Give me another 5 or 6 months, and I should be able to kill 1 million civilizations. At present, the Shura Civilization has successfully conquered 5,042 civilizations in the active universe. The marching speed has been increased by 25,210%, and the scientific research and manufacturing speed has also been increased by 5,042%. In the active universe, the Shura Civilization already has nearly 10 million space battleships. All the people in the entire civilization have become super soldiers. Now there is no civilization in the active universe that can stop the attack of the Shura Civilization. Chen, by the way, the redemption all over there should be open. You haven't redeemed it yet, right? Yun Feng, not yet. I have a total of 430 points. Chen, this number of points is not that many. I have seen them all interface posted by others on the game forum before. Although it doesn't have many roles, If used reasonably, it can still be exchanged for some good things. Yunfeng. Then what to exchange for, boss? You can't just talk about the words and not the substance. Chen. Okay, go and exchange it for a planet detection device, 120 points. In exchange for that thing, you can detect all the information on resource stars below the 4th level. In this way, if there are some hidden ruins on those resource stars, you can find them. Although the remote and chaotic star field where the players are located has never produced any powerful civilizations, there are still some 4th and 5th level civilizations. Therefore, on many resource stars, some relics left over by ancient civilizations can be found. Chen. The second item, you change to the cloaking device, 90 points. This device can hide the information of your civilization, and civilizations below level 4 can neither find your army, nor your resource star, let alone your fortress and main star. Chen. The third item, you change to the universe transmission device, 200 points. With this device, you can forcibly move your main star to any location in the universe. Chen. If your civilization encounters a catastrophe in the future, you can use it to escape. When our civilization becomes strong in the later stage and has the ability to compete with those civilizations that have always been located in the center of the universe and occupy the most resource-rich star field, you can use this device to directly transmit your planet there. Chen. For the rest, you can just change to some cheaper and more combat-effective things. Yunfeng. Okay, thank you, big brother. After ending the communication with Yunfeng, Chen focused his attention on the documents he needed to review. The light blue sky and the turquoise clouds are the wonders of a valley in the north of the Shura Civilization. There is one of the best and most prestigious schools in Shura Civilization, Kingu University. Brother Yao, this is the cloud cake I made by myself. Please try it. The girl in a pure white dress waited for a long time before Yun Yao, who came out of the Kingu team training camp. Thank you, Daojing. Yun Yao touched the girl's head lovingly. They are the most watched and envied couple in Kingu University. The two of them confirmed their relationship when they were in high school. When it was time to take the college entrance examination, Yun Yao gave up the Imperial Capital University for Yinjing and chose Kingu University, which had an admission score 20 points lower than that of the Imperial Capital University. After arriving at Kingu University, Yun Yao won the love of many girls with his excellent academic performance and handsome appearance. Later, he was elected president of the student union and became the dream man in the minds of all the girls in the school. But Yun Yao was not tempted by other girls because of this. He still loved the girl who had been inseparable from him since high school. Later, as the most outstanding student of Kingu University, Yun Yao was invited to the famous Royal Academy of Sciences in Shura a year and a half ago. Since the department he entered at that time was the Department for the Research and Development of Super Warrior Genes, he had come into contact with Super Warriors long before the virtual combat game started, and knew how Super Warriors should fight. So, when the Virtual Combat League was held, he joined the Kingu University Virtual League team as a player and assistant coach. Later, Kingu University entered the playoffs with the second place in the West. In the end, after a month and a half of battles in the playoffs, Kingu University defeated all the league teams in the West. 3 days later, the Kingu University team will compete with the Imperial Capital University team that stood out in the East for a ticket to the finals. Brother Yao, how do you feel about the recent training? Yin Jing asked curiously when Yun Yao tasted the cloud cake she made. The strength has improved a lot, and the tacit understanding of the team members has also improved a lot after more than half a year of competition. Then do we have a hope of beating the Imperial Capital University team? It's hard to say, Yun Yao sighed. The Imperial University team almost lost in a row at the beginning of the regular season, but later they started joint training with the military team and even competed with the royal team many times. They didn't lose a single game in the middle and late stages of the regular season. Although they didn't secure a playoff spot in the regular season, they also won a playoff spot through the Challenge Tournament. In the end, they stood out from the Eastern Conference playoffs. They didn't lose a single game in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Their strength is unimaginable. Yun Yao felt endless pressure when he thought of the Imperial University team. Even the sweet and delicious cloud cake that Yin Jing made for him was a little hard to eat. You have to believe in yourself. Besides, it doesn't matter even if you lose. It's already a good result for our team to achieve today. There's no need to put so much pressure on yourself. Yin Jing smiled sweetly at Yun Yao. Yeah, you're right. Yun Yao took Yin Jing's hand. Let's go. I promised to help you rank up today. Yeah, okay. 3 days later. Everyone, welcome to the penultimate game of this season's virtual league. Today's two teams are the Kingu team that successfully advanced from the west, and the Imperial University team that advanced from the east. Today's winner will have the final battle with the Royal team. After the Royal team and the military team competed, the Royal team won. Let's look forward to today's game. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55 Exchange Function. The Kingu University team eventually lost to the Imperial Capital University team by 2 points. Although their captain Yun Yao performed above his level in the final team competition, facing the attack of 2 people alone and forcibly killing 1 person. But after all, it was only him who performed above his level. The gap between his other teammates and the members of the Imperial Capital University team could not be made up by his own burst. But despite this, Yun Yao still gained the respect of everyone. The calmness, persistence, strength and spirit of not giving up until the last moment he showed in the game made Chen, who was watching the live broadcast in the palace, moved. As the king of Shura Civilization, he naturally knew the gap in strength between the two teams. In the end, the Imperial Capital University team could only win by 2 points, which Chen did not expect. Zhao, put Yun Yao's name on that list, and rank him 3rd. Yes, my king. The list that Chen talked about was the most talented and powerful people he selected from this virtual professional league. Only when their team was eliminated in the game could they be included in the list, because only at that time can Chen fully understand their potential and strength. Now there are 67 names on this list. These 67 people will receive invitations from Chen after the finals. They will directly become super soldiers, form elite teams, and become the sharpest sword of Shura Civilization in the future. Of course, these 67 people have another characteristic, that is, if they continue to stay in the virtual league, they will no longer be able to grow more. If they want to grow more, they must join the army and get more systematic learning. As for the finals, it will be held in 10 days. During these 10 days, the Imperial University team will receive comprehensive guidance from the military team that was defeated by the Royal team before. The purpose of establishing this system itself is to shorten the gap between ordinary teams and the Royal team and the military team, and to bring the audience a wonderful final. But now that the Royal team has received Nagus's teachings, it almost easily defeated the military team. So even if the military team gives the Imperial University team more guidance, there is no way to overcome the Royal team and win the final championship. The final result was indeed the case. The Imperial Capital University only got 1 point from the individual competition to the 3-person team competition, and then to the final 6-person team competition. That 1 point was the 6-for-1 exchange that the Imperial Capital University team had to fight hard to complete in the 6-person team competition. Not only that, what shocked everyone in the Shura Civilization was that the member sent by the Royal team in the individual competition was just an ordinary member among them. But that ordinary member not only completed a series of 3, but also consumed only 11% of his health. However, Chen did not underestimate the Imperial Capital University team because of this tragic defeat. To borrow a sentence from Zhao after giving the data analysis, it was a miracle that they could actually get 1 point. After some thinking, Chen finally only selected 2 people from the Imperial Capital University team. After all, the Imperial Capital University team had been training with the military team before, so it has the current combat capability. Although it is excellent, but not outstanding. Zhao, Send them an invitation. Chen poked the Zhao robot that was down next to him because he had nothing to do. Ah, got it? My king. Grievance. JPG. But at this moment, a system announcement suddenly appeared. Since the total number of transactions by players in the God Diamond Mall has exceeded 50 billion times, the system has opened the Blue Diamond function and the exchange function. Blue Diamond can be obtained by conquering resource stars, wars, and various activities. It can be exchanged with God Diamond at a rate of 110. Exchange. From now on, players can sell their civilization's resources, props, products and branch technologies on the exchange. The exchange trading currency is Blue Diamond. As soon as this system announcement came out, all the players became extremely excited. Countless people opened the exchange. In addition to trading items, the exchange also has an auction function. But if you want to host an auction, you need to trade at least 500 items, and the total transaction amount cannot be less than 1 million blue diamonds. And if you want to host an auction, you also need to establish an auction house. But if you want to establish an auction house, you need to compete for quota. That is to say, if a player wants to build an auction house, he needs to conduct an auction with other players in the system interface. Whoever can bid for this establishment quota is eligible to build an auction house. At the same time, if no auction house is built, then other players cannot conduct auctions. However, whether it is to build an auction house or upgrade an auction house, a large amount of resources are required. So if a player wants to build an auction house, he must have a full assessment of his financial resources. Soon, some players began to sell goods on the exchange. And the most profitable thing is that now all kinds of goods on the exchange are sky-high prices. A unit of primary resources is actually priced at 10 blue diamonds. This is 1,000 times more expensive than the selling price in the God Diamond Mall. Blue diamonds and exchanges are things that Chen did not encounter in his previous life. But for Chen, this is great news. For those resources, Chen directly chose to skip. What really attracted him were some special props and branch technologies. However, since these things are now hanging at sky-high prices, a first-level branch technology is actually priced at 10 million blue diamonds. Although Chen can afford it, there is no need for it, because this price is something that other players simply cannot afford. Those players have to lower the price if they want to sell them. Chen has never been a spendthrift. If he can buy at a low price, he will never buy at a high price. After all, if he runs out of money now, what will he do in the future? After browsing the exchange, Chen found that there was nothing that was priced right and particularly useful to him, so he chose to exit the exchange interface directly. It will take at least 5 or 6 days for the price to drop. Recently, we can capture a few more resource stars first, and don't have to rush to exchange them with divine diamonds. Chen's gene calculator was calculating frantically. This is the advantage of super soldiers. They don't need to use their brains much, and the gene calculator will calculate reasonable data for him. Report to the palace meeting room. Chen notified who was training troops in the military camp, through Zhao. His eyes were focused on a level 5 resource star that was only 0.7 light years away from Shura Star. In Chen's memory, there was a very precious prop there. He had never been there before because he did not have the strength. Now that he had the strength and planned to expand the size of the resource star, he would start with that one. Chapter 56 Abandoned Military Base. While was ordered to conquer the level 5 resource star, Mo also successfully conquered a civilization that openly insulted Chen on the World Channel, together with the 2 civilizations that were conquered by and Mo before. Today, the Shura Civilization has conquered a total of 4 player civilizations and has a total of 7 affiliated life planets. While carrying out the immigration plan, Chen was finally willing to exchange population from the Divine Diamond Mall. He directly exchanged 20 billion people in the Divine Diamond Mall in one go, directly bringing the total population of the Shura Civilization to 68.7 billion. Please do not ignore the population of the conquered civilization. The increase in population brings about an increase in production scale and the number of troops. Today, the Shura Civilization has a total of 1 billion ordinary soldiers, 1.8 million first-generation super soldiers, 600,000 second-generation super soldiers, and 100,000 third-generation super soldiers. Because many of the extra population went to the affiliated planets, and the technological level of the affiliated planets only reached the second-level technology, limited by the dream-building system. Therefore, the real expansion of the production scale is only the scale of World War II super soldiers and second-level space battleships. The production scale of the third-level space battleship has only expanded by 1.3 times. But even so, this has greatly improved the strength of the Shura Civilization. As for the Angel Chase, who had arrived in the chaotic zone several months ago, because the other party found that there was war everywhere, they were promoting justice and order along the way, resulting in the other party's distance from the Shura Civilization. There is even a certain error in the direction of the Shura Civilization. Although the younger generation of angels and the Angel Civilization now think that the Demon Civilization is extremely dangerous, they have been taught the justice and order of the Angel King Cassius since they were young. Therefore, for some young angels, promoting justice is more important than killing demons. However, the fact that Angel Chase promoted justice and order seemed to be discovered by the two 9th-level civilizations. Although the two civilizations did not take any measures, they did have some conversations with the Angel Civilization. The result of the conversation was that Angel Chase gave up staying here. In this way, Chen avoided a battle. In fact, he knew about the arrival of Angel Chase a month ago. After all, those players would not talk on the forum and chat channel after seeing the angel. However, Chen had already made preparations. There were many props in the God Diamond Mall. All he had to do was trap the other party and prevent them from finding out the information here, and he could also avoid fighting. And Nagusa also said that when necessary, she would take the initiative to attract attention and prevent the Angel Civilization from focusing its attention on the Shura Civilization. At the same time, 56 of the 69 people on the list chose to join the Shura Civilization army and become a real super soldier. Chen did not let them start training directly. After all, the training officer appointed by Chen for them, was still fighting for the new 5th-level resource, and they also needed to be implanted with the super soldier gene first. After the implantation was completed, they needed to train with those real soldiers for a month. Then they would go to Yu's command with another 50 people selected by the military to receive elite training. During the training process, those who were not well trained would be eliminated continuously, and only 60 people would be left to become a member of the most elite combat force of the Shura Civilization. Although it is not possible to fully demonstrate the combat capabilities of this elite force on a real interstellar battlefield, when the Shura Civilization becomes a divine civilization, these soldiers will become divine bodies. Their combat effectiveness will bring great help to Shura Civilization. Ladu and Liu Nian, the captain and vice-captain of the royal team, also withdrew from the royal team at the same time. They directly entered the royal guards and served as the commander-in-chief and deputy commander-in-chief of the royal guards. Nagusa's evaluation of the two of them is that they are absolutely elite warriors, because, in the universe, the most powerful of every civilization is often their king. So the real duty of the king's guardian is not to protect the king's life and safety, but to show the authority and dignity of the king. In a war, if the opponent is not as civilized as his own, then the task of the guardian is to defeat all enemies who challenge the king. When the two sides are equal, it is a battle between kings, and the responsibility of the guards is to prevent others from interfering in the king's battle. When the enemy's strength is higher than their own, the role of the guards is to desperately protect their king from being killed in battle. Therefore, the commander of the royal guards does not need to have a high command ability, but must have absolute combat effectiveness. My king, Yuru has sent a message. She said that they have successfully captured the 5th-level resource star, but more than 30 super soldiers were killed in the battle. Zhao flew to Chen's side. Well, okay, you ask her to go directly to the North Pole of the resource star. As long as you carefully explore, you can find a deserted military base there. After entering the military base, you must be cautious in everything you do. It is very dangerous there. Only the 3rd-generation super soldiers equipped with light wings, chain links, and nano-meshs can enter. Chen instructed Zhao to tell Yuru this. He did not choose to connect with Yuru directly, because the magnetic field on the resource star is quite special, so he could only let Zhao upload the information to the space battleship where Yuri was. The super soldier's own genetic computer is difficult to receive other signals on the planet. Yes, my king. On the other side, after seeing the message sent by Zhao on the battleship, Yuri made a prompt decision and led 100 super soldiers who met Mo Chen's requirements to the North Pole of the planet. With the help of Mo Chen's intelligence, they found the suspected location in just 1 hour. Break the ice, Yuri ordered. Several super soldiers came forward, all of them carrying heat-generating laser weapons. Under their operation, the ice there was quickly melted and destroyed. As the ice disappeared, a lot of metal debris appeared in their eyes. This should be the military base that Wang mentioned. Team 1 will go explore the way first. As the ice breaking continued, the entrance to the military base was soon discovered by everyone. Team 1 had a total of 8 people, with a balanced configuration and rich combat experience. 5 minutes after Team 1 entered, you received their feedback. Everything is safe for the time being, you can enter. After receiving the information, you commanded the remaining soldiers to enter the military base. However, not long after they entered, the gate of the military base was quietly closed. Chapter 57, Cybertron Mechanical Life. The scale of this abandoned military base is extremely large, but its overall structure is full of various small corridors. When you first enter, there is a relatively large space, but then there is a long and narrow passage. The energy reserves of this military base are very sufficient. Although it has been unknown how many years, it can still barely operate. The lights in the passage can still reveal a faint glow. Soon, you and others met the number 1 exploration team. They encountered a fork in the road here. The forks here are not as simple as 3 or 4. There are more than 20 forks in front of them. The road is very clean all the way here. This military base should have been voluntarily abandoned by the civilization it belongs to, rather than destroyed in the war. You said this before deciding which fork to take, but it is precisely because of this that we have to be more cautious, because it means that many of the mechanisms of this military base are still intact. You looked at the fork in the road in front of her and had a headache. The magnetic field here is a bit special, and reconnaissance equipment such as drones cannot operate normally. As for Mo Chen, hundreds of years had allowed him to only remember the general idea of this military base, and he had almost forgotten the details. He could remember the fragments before he entered the dream world in his previous life because that memory was too unforgettable. So when Mo Chen asked Zhao to send a message to Yuri before, he could only tell her some general information. General, if it really doesn't work, we can withdraw first and bring in some larger armored facilities, so that it will be safer to explore the way. A soldier expressed his thoughts. No, adding facilities can indeed resist some smaller damage, but if it is a large damage, the armored facilities will only limit our actions. Yuri shook her head. Team number 1 and team number 2, you take turns to explore the way. Explore each fork in the road for 5 minutes. Retreat immediately if you encounter danger, and try your best to judge the role of the location where these forks lead to. Yes, both teams finally returned safely from the fork they entered. Can you guess what the place that leads to is for? This fork here is not deep. There are doors on both sides of the fork, which are very clean. We tried to break a door and found a dormitory inside. So that fork should be where the soldiers of this military base originally lived. The captain of Team 1 answered. We can't guess what the place that leads to is for. The fork is very deep. We walked for 5 minutes and still didn't reach the bottom. This was the answer from the captain of Team 2. You pondered for a while. Let's go to the dormitory fork first. There may be some things left there that can help us analyze the situation here. Yura led the troops into the fork. The owners of those dormitories should have moved away, but there are still some things left. Unfortunately, due to the lack of language, Yura could not analyze what the things left behind were used for. If we can't get any information, then we can only continue to explore one by one according to the original method. Without getting any useful information, Yuri had no choice but to order teams 1 and 2 to continue to enter the fork to explore. At the beginning, everything went smoothly. However, when the 2 teams entered the fork for the 6th time, Team 1 never came back. Something happened. Yuri frowned. As a commander, she couldn't take the risk alone. but she was the strongest fighter here, and she also had the best defense equipment. So she chose 4 soldiers whose weapons were more defensive to enter the fork with her. There was no light in this fork, but fortunately, Yura and others had the ability of night vision, and they could see the things in the fork even without lights. This fork was different from the clean one before. It was very messy, and the wreckage of various weapons and equipment was all over the ground. If there were no corpses here, you would even think that a battle had broken out here. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that the original owners here were some soft-tissue creatures. However, after a careful inspection, Yura ruled out that possibility. The operation method of these weapons is unlikely to belong to soft-tissue creatures, but should belong to some strong humanoid creatures. After groping all the way, they finally found Team 1, but they only found corpses. Team 1's bodies were covered with huge wounds, probably pierced by several lasers. Take their bodies away and retreat slowly. Yura looked around cautiously and said in a deep voice, after confirming that all the team members had begun to retreat. Yura began to retreat slowly. However, at this moment, all kinds of rustling sounds suddenly came. In Yura's field of vision, a large number of metal insects crawled out of the passage. What are these? These metal insects, which are no different from machines, contain real life under the analysis of Yura's genetic computer. But things with purely mechanical structures should not be able to become living organisms in theory. In fact, even Chen didn't know that there were such metal insects here. In the previous life, Chen's troops were also attacked by lasers here, but then they evacuated and did not encounter any attacks from metal insects on the way. Later, they entered the Central Research Institute of this military base from another fork. There they found an item abandoned by the original owner of this military base. A giant mechanical life form, Cybertron. It's just that the giant mechanical life form they found was already a corpse. However, after research by the Academy of Sciences, it was found that the mechanical life form actually had the ability to reproduce when it was alive. Unfortunately, although the NPC Civilization later tried to copy it, it failed, because they lacked something called Cybertron Crystal by the Academy of Sciences. Only with that crystal can it be possible to create a mechanical life form. But later, after the army of the NPC Civilization obtained the mechanical life form, the military base suddenly exploded, except for the troops that first transported those mechanical life forms. All other troops died there. Later, the NPC Civilization created a Cybertron-like robot through the dead mechanical life form. That kind of robot has its own personality and recovery ability, but it cannot reproduce itself and cannot feel pain. This kind of robot also provided a very solid foundation for the rapid development of the NPC Civilization later. But now, each of these metal bugs in front of you contains a Cybertron crystal in its body. Chapter 58 Re-entry. Go, don't stop. Looking at the metal bugs gradually crawling over, Yura hurriedly said to the soldiers behind her. At the same time, she also opened her 8-sided jade ling. Since she had the dark energy-driven weapon given to her by Chen, 8-sided jade ling has gradually changed from her offensive weapon to a defensive weapon. When 8-sided jade ling was upgraded to a level 3 weapon, she focused on strengthening the defense of this weapon. In addition to the high mobility of this weapon itself, the defense ability of 8-sided jade ling is definitely ranked among the top among all the level 3 weapons of Shura Civilization. However, Yura is using it now for the defense shield that this weapon can now drive. It is absolutely stupid to use laser weapons to eliminate those metal bugs in such a place, so the only way to take is to use energy shields. Under Yura's cover, they finally evacuated this branch road without any danger. It is not advisable to stay here for a long time. We will retreat immediately, because the gate of the branch road has been in disrepair for a long time. When entering to explore before, they used the method of forcibly breaking the door. Therefore, the gate of this branch road has no way to stop those metal bugs. But when Yura and others planned to leave the military base, they found that the gate of this military base had been closed without their knowledge. The gate of this military base is not like the gates of the previous branch roads. This gate uses a specific metal and is extremely difficult to break. In fact, this incident also happened in the previous life, but because Chen's troops had entered the central control room at that time, they directly opened the gate through the central control room. Therefore, Chen did not have such a deep memory of this incident. However, in the end, because Yuru consumed all the dark energy in her body to drive the dark energy weapon, she barely broke the gate, allowing everyone to evacuate this abandoned military base safely. What did you say? Metal bugs? After leaving the military base, Yuru took a starship directly to the universe and talked to Chen. Do they have a crimson crystal in their bodies? Yes, that kind of crystal also emits a flame-like light. That's right, that's right. That's it. Chen became extremely excited after hearing Yuru's words. I didn't expect that the Cybertron crystal that I couldn't find in my previous life was actually in that military base. Chen thought to himself, let your troops wait there first, I will bring the troops here soon. This time, Chen planned to lead the team into the military base in person. Why did Chen desire the Cybertron crystal so much? This is because the Academy of Sciences of the Moling civilization in the previous life came to a conclusion based on the research on the dead mechanical life form, that is, the mechanical life form with the Cybertron crystal can evolve by itself. This is an extremely terrifying thing. A new Cybertron robot may not have the combat power of a first-generation super soldier, but as it continues to grow, it continues to devour energy and metal, and eventually it may even reach the level of a fourth-generation divine body. Chen didn't know why the metal bugs appeared there this time, but he knew that he had to get these metal bugs. After having the Cybertron crystal, the process can directly create real mechanical life forms. At that time, you only need to find a relatively advanced, unmanned resource star and throw them in. After a while, recycle them and find a higher level resource star and throw them in again. Without any research, they will naturally become the advanced combat power of Shura Civilization, and their evolution speed is still relatively fast. It is for this reason that Chen is so excited. However, in view of the danger of that military base, Chen plans to exchange some useful things from the Divine Diamond Mall. Unknown Factor X, extremely radioactive material that can inhibit the activity of living organisms, but ineffective against divine bodies. Exchange price, 50,000 divine diamonds. Special anti-radioactive material armor. It has extremely strong resistance to radioactive materials, but can only be driven for 5 hours. Exchange price, 2,000 divine diamonds. Set. Unknown crystal: it can forcibly release an energy magnetic field, and within the magnetic field, it is immune to all normal energy shocks. The duration of the magnetic field, 10 seconds. Exchange price, 800,000 divine diamonds. Chen exchanged one each for Unknown Factor X and Unknown Crystal, and 300 sets for special anti-radioactive material armor. Chen planned to lead 298 soldiers carrying all the current Shura Civilization's single soldier machine-type devices and Yuru to enter the abandoned military base again. Although the gate of the base had been destroyed, the metal bugs seemed to be more afraid of the severe cold, so the soldiers left there did not see the metal bugs coming out of the base. Everyone be careful. The danger of those metal bugs is not yet confirmed, but the crystals in their bodies are extremely important, and can only be mined when they are alive. Our civilization does not have the technology to mine them yet, so we must capture them alive. If you want to mine Cybertron crystals, you must first obtain the dead mechanical life form inside, because only by studying that can you obtain the technology to mine Cybertron crystals. So Chen can't just leave those metal bugs there first, because the higher the current level of civilization development, the stronger their strength. So the sooner the Cybertron mechanical life forms are created, the greater the role for Shura Civilization. Enter slowly. If you encounter metal bugs, don't act rashly. I will analyze the approximate number of those metal bugs and then make action arrangements. Chen gave the last instructions before entering the base. Chen can't say that he will release the Unknown Factor X as soon as he enters. After all, the anti-radioactive material armor can only be used for 5 hours. If they can't capture all the metal bugs and take away the body of the mechanical life form within 5 hours, then all the actions will fail. Number 300 walked slowly forward, but until they reached the fork in the road that Yuru and the others had encountered before, they did not see a single metal bug. Yuru, Which fork in the road was the one where you encountered the metal bug? This one. Yura pointed to the fork in the road. Looking at the fork in the road, some dusty memories seemed to reappear in Mo-chan's mind. Although the specific details were not very clear, this fork in the road was extremely dangerous. The original Moline civilization lost more than 1,000 super soldiers in this fork in the road. The main reason why the Moline civilization gave up this fork in the road was that it did not have the capital to continue exploring. But now recalling that the road to the central research room was not that dangerous, then the place where this road finally led to must have something more precious. The metal bug is the biggest proof. Team number 1 will follow me in first, team number 2 will follow us, and team number 3 will stay outside to prepare for the reception. After a series of instructions were issued, Mo-chan led team number 1 to enter first. Chapter 59, Mechanical Life Form Cemetery. The reason why this fork is dangerous is that it is full of laser weapon traps, and the reason why this fork is messy is different from the result of Yura's analysis. There have indeed been deaths on this fork, and many have died. After analysis, scientists from the previous life of the Moline civilization pointed out that the guns in the fork were dropped on the ground by the owner after death, and the reason why there are so many debris is that the group of life forms that died here were the last batch of evacuation troops from this base. But why this batch of evacuation troops died here, and why there are so many laser traps on this fork is unknown. 1,000 years of experience allowed Mo-chen to discover a lot of laser traps in advance. After advancing for 20 minutes, although there were still triggers, only 3 super soldiers were injured. During this period, they passed several warehouses, but those warehouses had already been cleaned up and nothing was left. And advancing to this point, they have reached the deepest distance explored by the previous life of the Moling civilization. Rest here for a while. After giving this order, Mo-chen came to Yura's side. Mo-chen has been in charge of leading the number 1 formation, while Yura is in charge of leading the number 2 formation. How is the analysis going? Yura was analyzing the terrain as they moved forward. This fork in the road should lead underground. We have been moving underground all the way. According to data modeling, we are moving underground. So you suspect there may be a huge basement underneath? Yes. Yura nodded. Okay, I see. If there is really a basement, then those dead life forms are not retreating? Or is there a space decoration underground, and they are planning to leave through the space device? Mo-chen thought to himself. Click. A sound similar to the movement of gears suddenly appeared. Click. Another sound suddenly sounded. All the soldiers stood up and looked around cautiously. Click, click, click. The movement of the gears began to speed up. At the same time as the sound of the gears operating rang out, a rustling sound was getting stronger from weak. Everyone be alert. Mo-chen and Yura stood at the front of the team. They were the only 2 who had the black soul armor, which had the defense power equivalent to that of a 5th-generation super soldier. Soon, dense metal bugs appeared in their field of vision. Everyone, turn on the armor's defense. Mo-chen shouted, and at the same time directly opened the box containing the unknown Factor X. The originally active metal bugs stopped moving in an instant. Take out the equipment boxes and collect all these metal bugs immediately. After seeing that the vitality of the metal bugs was suppressed, Mo-chen immediately ordered. There are tens of thousands of metal bugs here, and our equipment boxes may not be enough. Yura frowned and said to Mo-chen, don't worry, if you can't fit them, just give up the rest. If all the equipment boxes brought by Mo-chen were filled, it would be enough for the Shura Civilization's Research Institute to create 100,000 mechanical life forms. Mechanical life forms can reproduce themselves, so there is no need to worry about the lack of Cybertron crystals at that time. Although these 200 people are already 3rd-generation super soldiers and have mastered certain micro-wormhole transportation technology, but the equipment boxes they can carry are ultimately limited. It only took more than half an hour for all the equipment boxes to be filled. You lead Team 2 to take all the equipment he mentioned away from here first. After joining Team 3, you can let Team 2 take the equipment boxes and leave this space. Then you lead Team 3 to take the 8th fork on the left. Although there will still be laser traps after entering, there will be much fewer than on this fork. Although the main ability of the armor we are wearing now is to resist radioactive substances, It also has a certain ability to defend against lasers. After entering, you will see a huge robot remains. Take it away and your mission will be completed. After Chen gave you some instructions, he asked the soldiers of Team 1 to hand over all their equipment boxes to Team 2. Team 1, follow me and continue forward. Chen led Team 1 to continue walking deeper into this fork. Along the way, they also encountered many laser traps, but with the armor on their bodies, they were still safe. After walking for about half an hour, they saw a device similar to an elevator. This elevator can only carry 10 people at most. Team 01, leave your heavy firepower behind, and the rest of you follow me in. Time was very tight. According to Chen's memory, after taking away the mechanical life form corpses over there, this military base would explode in an hour and a half, and it would only take Shura and the others about an hour to evacuate this branch road and reach there. In other words, Chen only had 2 hours left, and they would even need nearly an hour to evacuate in a while. So after seeing this elevator, he had no time to think about it, and immediately led 9 soldiers to ride on it. Although he couldn't understand the text, there were still certain icons and symbols on this elevator. After Chen made a rough judgment, he clicked a button he thought was for descending. Sure enough, the elevator began to descend. The descent was very fast, and it lasted for about 15 seconds in total. According to Chen's estimation, it should have descended about 500 meters. After reaching the bottom, there was another corridor. This corridor was also full of metal bugs, but this corridor was different from the pitch-black corridor above. Both sides of this corridor were covered with blue crystals. This blue crystal brought a faint glow to the corridor. The corridor was not very long, and it only took Chen and others half a minute to see a metal door with a big hole in it. This door has a big hole in it, and the metal worms should have come out from inside, Chen speculated. But when Chen approached, he was completely shocked by the scene he saw. This is an extremely large underground space. Here, in addition to a large number of crystals and metal worms that flashed with light blue light, there are also countless huge robot wreckage. This, compared with this place, the mechanical life body that you and others are going to take is insignificant. Those metal worms should be the creatures born after the mechanical life bodies here decay, just like the maggots born after the organic life decays. So this is not a military base at all, but a research institute for this mechanical life cemetery. Chapter 60 Angels and Demons. Follow me and enter slowly, Chen said to the 9 soldiers behind him. There are only 10 people here, so it is impossible to move the corpses of mechanical life forms. But if he is lucky, he may be able to obtain some products developed by the original owner of this military base. At worst, if he finds some research materials and deciphers their text and information codes through Zhao, he can also get some good things. Click. The gear sound appeared again. Before, due to the appearance of metal worms, Chen also ignored the gear sound. Later, as the life activities of metal worms were suppressed, the gear sound also stopped. So Chen also believed that the gear sound was caused by the activity of metal worms. But now, here, after all the metal worms have been suppressed, the gear sound appeared again. However, this gear sound stopped after it appeared once. Despite this, this gear sound gave Chen a great sense of vigilance. Be careful and alert around. Chen asked 2 defensive super soldiers to walk on both sides of the team. 2 super soldiers who are good at charging were at the end of the team, and he was at the front of the team. After walking for a long time and crossing countless mechanical life bodies, they finally saw a huge metal building not far away. Bang! Chen originally thought that the door of this metal building was very solid, but he didn't expect that. He just pushed the door lightly and it opened. There were many culture dishes in this metal building. Some of the culture dishes were broken, but some were intact. Although the culture fluid used in these culture dishes had been consumed, the things they originally cultivated were still inside. There were some mechanical life remains inside, but around these remains were a large number of metal worms. It seems that this civilization originally wanted to cultivate a large number of metal worms through these remains, perhaps using them as a battlefield, and the weapons on them might be used to extract Cybertron crystals. Chen continued to move forward, but soon another metal door blocked his way forward. This metal door was not as fragile as the door of this building. However, since the intelligent control system of this base had collapsed, Chen used his genetic computer to calculate about a minute to crack the protection program of this metal door. After the metal door opened, a smaller room was revealed. There were 10 petri dishes inside, but they were much more advanced than those outside. The contents inside also gave Chen a huge shock. 5 of the 10 petri dishes contained young mechanical life forms, 3 of the other 5 contained angel babies, and 2 contained demon babies. However, whether it was angels or demons, their bodies had been transformed into semi-mechanical life forms. They were even implanted with Cybertron crystals. Damn, what kind of civilization is this? Originally, according to Chen's estimation in his previous life, the strength of this civilization would not exceed level 6 civilization at most. After all, the materials of their military base and the laser traps and other facilities inside were only level 5 civilization configurations. But now the simultaneous appearance of angel and demon babies broke his cognition. In the universe, the demon civilization was very weak at first, only a level 4 civilization. They really became powerful when the Apocalypse King Liang Bing of the angel civilization betrayed the angel civilization and became the king of the demon civilization Morgana. At that time, the angel civilization was already a level 8 civilization. This civilization would place the babies of the angel civilization and the demon civilization here, if it was not a coincidence. Then when they captured these babies, the angel civilization and the demon civilization should have been in opposition. In other words, this civilization snatched their babies from an 8th level civilization and a civilization protected by 3 generations of divine bodies, and transformed these babies into semi-mechanical life forms. Chen suddenly felt the deep malice of the universe here. As far as Chen knows, both the angel civilization and the demon civilization protect the babies there very strictly. Perhaps stealing babies from the demon civilization can still be within Chen's understanding, but stealing babies from the angel civilization is too terrible. The angel civilization defeated all their male angels a long time ago and excluded them, leaving only female angels. So these babies are all female angels, born after finding the most powerful warriors of each civilization. Female angel babies with strong genes were taken back to their own civilizations by the angel civilization for cultivation. Angel babies with weak genes were left in the civilization where their fathers were. If any of the female angel babies had amazing things in the process of growing up, they would be reaccepted by the angel civilization. Therefore, every female angel baby was closely monitored by the angel civilization. The angel babies here have obvious angel genes at first glance, and they were definitely taken back to their own civilization by the angel civilization for key cultivation. If you want to steal them, you must sneak into the city of angels. Steal these babies under the nose of Holy Kesha. But such a civilization has never left a name in the universe. If these are the shocks left by this civilization to Chen, then the following discovery is enough to make Chen feel trembling from beginning to end. Because the life forms in these 10 culture dishes are all alive, 5 living mechanical life forms and 5 living angel civilizations, semi-mechanical transformation life forms of demon civilization. This discovery is not something my civilization can handle. The Shura Civilization can barely hide the 5 mechanical life forms, but the remaining 5 must be discussed with Nagusa. Use micro-wormhole technology. 1 person, move 1 petri dish, immediately, Chen said. Time did not allow him to stay in that shock. If he did not leave now and led the number 1 formation to retreat, then the explosion of this base would kill all of them soon. However, when they boarded the elevator, click, 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 the sound of the gears was no longer a click. There must be some mechanism in this military base that started to operate. At the same time as this mechanism started to operate, Chen seemed to vaguely see that during the process of the elevator rising, there seemed to be a door flashing on the surrounding walls. That door was definitely not a door for repairing the elevator, because that door was exactly the same as the door in the metal building where 10 living mechanical life forms were placed. But it was too late. When Chen reached the fork in the road, he immediately led the number 1 formation to retreat quickly. But the sound of an explosion suddenly came from the basement. Chapter 61, Thrilling Escape. The violent explosion from the basement caused the entire military base to collapse. They could even see that cracks were spreading on the walls, and the explosion in the basement had gradually affected other places. Chen could feel more and more intensive explosions, constantly coming from far away. He was not worried about Yur. According to the time, they should have evacuated the military base. Everyone opened the chain link and used the light wings to rush out directly. At this moment, Chen could no longer care whether there were other untriggered traps on this road. They had to escape from here as quickly as possible, otherwise, even if they could resist the impact of the explosion, they would be buried deep here. Boom! A laser cannon suddenly shot out from the walls on both sides. Despite the protection of the chain magnetic field, a soldier was seriously injured because he faced the laser cannon directly. Another soldier quickly carried him on his back, and several soldiers around him used light wings to heal his wounds while retreating rapidly. Sure enough, there are still traps left. Chen had a headache. The traps he had deliberately avoided while moving forward had now become obstacles to their departure. But for now, he had to stay at the end of the team, because if the explosion really reached here, it would be the best choice for him to withstand it. Boom! Another laser trap was triggered, and the power of this laser trap was much stronger than the previous one. It directly injured 6 super soldiers, and one of them even died before he could hold on for long even with the treatment of light wing. In a hurry, Chen could only return to the front of the team, otherwise, his soldiers would be wiped out by the traps before the explosion reached here. General Yur, there is an explosion in this military base. Do we really not need to go in and take a look? Stay here. This is the military order left by our king. As soldiers, we must obey. Yur was wearing the standard white military uniform of the Starfleet Corps soldiers, and a white coat behind her. But, Yur took off the white coat behind her. As the former captain of the Royal Maids, it is also my responsibility to protect the safety of our king. You stay where you are. I will go in to investigate the situation. Light wings appeared behind Yur, and then rushed directly into the military base. Yur and others who were located outside the military base could hear the explosion, so you can imagine how close the explosion was to Chen and others at this time. But the only good news at the moment is that they have avoided the most densely populated area of laser traps. However, among the 100 soldiers behind Chen, more than 30 were injured, and the number of deaths in the battle reached 4. Bang! Chen and others could already feel the air pressure coming from behind. The explosion was very close to them. Chen took the initiative to return to the back of the team. In his hand appeared a Fangtian Huaji, which was the dark energy-driven weapon that Chen exchanged from the event mall at that time. He would use this weapon to support the defense of the rear of the team. As for the unknown crystal that he exchanged from the Shenzhen mall, he would not use it unless it was a very urgent situation. After all, this kind of crystal can only resist for 10 seconds. Unless the energy of the explosion has reached a point where he cannot resist it, it would be a waste to use it. Boom! This dim fork suddenly began to light up, and the speed of its rise and fall was very fast. Dark energy radiation. Chen frantically guided the dark energy in his body into his weapon. A light curtain similar to that condensed by dark energy was released by his Fangtian Huaji. Since Chen and others were also moving forward, he did not feel a particularly great pressure for a while when the explosion came. But this pressure is indeed increasing layer by layer. At the same time, the speed of dark energy consumption is also increasing rapidly. Although he can still hold on to this speed of consumption for the time being, it has only been less than half a minute since he came into contact with the explosion. But even if they use light wings, they still need at least 3 to 5 minutes to evacuate here. But judging from the current growth rate of dark energy consumption, the dark energy in his body will be completely consumed in a minute at most. Even if other soldiers use light wings to restore dark energy for him, holding on for 3 minutes is already the limit. The reality was exactly the same as his prediction. The dark energy in his body was completely consumed after 1 minute. After another minute and a half, the dark energy supply speed provided by other soldiers' light wings to Chen had reached the same level as the consumption speed. It only took another half a minute for the light curtain to break, but they were still 1 minute away from the exit. Just when Mo Chen was having trouble holding on, he suddenly felt that his pressure was much less. Mo Chen turned his head and saw Yu suddenly appear beside him, and the other party was doing the same thing as him. "Yu, why are you here? According to my order, you should wait outside." "Although I am now a general, I still have the obligations of that position before you, the king. Select a new captain of the Maid Guard." Although Yu is now holding on with Mo Chen, she is only a level 3 super soldier, and the dark energy reserves she has are actually no different from those of other soldiers. Although she can share the pressure, she can't share much. The burning sensation is constantly reminding Mo Chen and Yu that the light curtain has reached the point where it can no longer support. "Yu, stop, I still have one last resort." When Mo Chen said this, his tone was unquestionable. Time was short, and he couldn't explain to Yu what his methods were. Yu was obviously stunned when she heard this, but she stopped without any doubt. To her, Mo Chen was a king full of miracles. He had only been in power for a few years, but he had developed the Shura Civilization to the 4th level civilization. He had various methods emerging one after another. He was a king with strength and unparalleled strategy. The moment Yu stopped, a metal box appeared in Mo Chen's hand. After Mo Chen controlled it through his genetic calculator, the metal box opened. A blue crystal floated in the air. The moment this crystal appeared, the energy impact generated by the explosion was directly consumed. 10 seconds, only 10 seconds, after releasing the unknown crystal, Mo Chen immediately rushed to the periphery of the military base. Only when you are infinitely close to death can you experience the speed of 10 seconds. The first 10 seconds passed very quickly, but the last 10 seconds seemed so long. Boom. Mo Chen did not escape. He was blown out by the explosion. Although he was seriously injured, he was lucky to survive. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62, The Man Who Frightened Mo Chen. "Hey, didn't you say last time that I appeared too often? Why did you call me here again today?" Nagusa was still the same. As soon as she arrived at Mo Chen's palace, she took out a chair out of thin air and sat on it with her legs crossed. In the history of this universe, has there ever been a powerful civilization, or a civilization that is very good at hiding its whereabouts? They are even able to sneak into the angel's palace without being discovered by Holy Kesha. Mo Chen ignored Nagusa's ridicule and directly said the topic he wanted to talk about. There are so many strange civilizations in the universe, and there are also many level 9 civilizations. No one can guarantee whether they have any branch technology that can sneak into the angel's royal city. Nagusa felt that Mo Chen's question was a bit stupid. In fact, Mo Chen realized that he had asked the wrong question the moment he asked it, but there was no way. Despite his 1,000 years of experience, the things he held in his hands now made him too nervous. "Okay, then I'll ask in another way. In the past 10,000 years, has your civilization ever had a baby theft incident?" "Theft incident?" Nagusa was stunned. "I'm sorry, I can't answer you this question. This is the secret and privacy of our demon civilization." Nagusa frowned and looked at Mo Chen. She didn't know why Mo Chen asked this question. Mo Chen didn't say anything, but used the micro-wormhole transportation technology to take out the 5 petri dishes containing angel and demon babies. This is... Nagusa had stood up from her seat, her eyes full of shock. "Where did you find them?" "An abandoned military base on a resource planet." "So, do you know their origins?" Mo Chen said slowly. He knew that after he took out the demon and angel babies, he had the initiative in this conversation. However, Nagusa did not give the answer that Mo Chen wanted. "I have some speculations about the appearance of these babies, but they involve some secrets that have been sealed in the universe. Those secrets can only be known by the 9th level civilization. I only know some because I am Queen Morgana's attendant." Nagusa sighed. "I'm sorry, I can't tell you. This involves some dark history in the universe. Before your civilization reaches level 6, knowing it too early will only bring you danger." Dark history. Mo Chen fell into deep thought. He naturally knew about this history, Although this is a secret known only to level 9 civilizations, many level 6 and above civilizations also know part of it over the years. It was a war that broke out 11,000 years ago. At that time, the war between angels and demons had only lasted for 3,000 years. But at that time, a powerful civilization that was constantly expanding appeared. This civilization threatened the interests of all level 9 civilizations, so the level 9 civilizations began to join forces to launch a war against this civilization. But the terrible thing is that this civilization was so powerful that it could fight against the joint efforts of all level 9 civilizations. So, the Dark War began. Each level 9 civilization began to frantically squeeze the resources of its subordinate civilizations, and countless cannon fodder civilizations were sent to the battlefield by them. In the end, that powerful civilization collapsed under the crazy consumption of other level 9 civilizations, and the large star field where Chen is now is one of the former territories of that powerful civilization. Countless low-level civilizations were destroyed in that war. But this period of history was extremely unfavorable to the civilizations under their command. So they chose to seal this period of history, because the civilizations used as cannon fodder at that time were relatively weak civilizations, and those 9-level civilizations later dealt with them very cleanly. So although this dark history is still circulated in the universe, it is also incomplete. Some of the more powerful players in the previous life collected this dark history in full by sorting out the information, and later they posted this history on the game forum. That's why Chen knew about it. However, now that Nagusuk has said this, the civilization where the military base is located is naturally about to be revealed. Chen, I will take these 2 demon babies back to the demon civilization, and as for the 3 angel babies, I will continue to keep them here. I will inform Queen Morgana about this matter, and Queen Morgana will decide on the subsequent handling plan. Nagusa looked at Chen with a very serious tone. Can't these 3 angel babies be taken away? Chen asked. No, the babies of the angel civilization will have the mark of the angel civilization on them. If people with a sense of justice do not come into contact with them, the marks on their bodies will begin to ask for help from the angel civilization. The civilization that captured these babies should have the ability to block the marks of the angel civilization on these babies, but I don't have that ability. Nagusa shook her head. So it means that I am a person with a righteous mind. Chen complained in his heart. This matter is very urgent. I will leave immediately. It is best not to move these angel babies before I come back. After Nagusa put the culture dishes of the 2 demon babies into her micro-wormhole space, she instructed Chen. Okay, I know. Be careful on your way back. You have been tracked down by the angel civilization before. If you go back now, you may fall into the trap of the angel civilization. Don't worry, they can't catch me. Nagusa tilted her head and smiled at Chen, waved her hand, and left. After Nagusa left, Chen looked at the culture dishes of the 3 angel babies with a headache. It seems that I can only leave you here for now. I hope that you will not trigger the mark unexpectedly because I rescued you from the dark underground. Chen sighed and could only use the micro-wormhole storage technology to collect them. Zhao, help me connect to fate. Yes. Zhao flew in front of Chen, and the virtual screen was shot out of her eyes. My king, these mechanical life forms are simply so beautiful. Fate, with white hair, hugged those mechanical life forms like a pervert, and his wrinkled face was actually full of spring light at this time. You look too disgusting now, be normal. Chen was very dissatisfied with Fate's current appearance. Yes. Feeling Chen's displeasure, Fate quickly jumped off the mechanical life form. From today on, the Academy of Sciences will abandon all other research and focus on cracking the body structure of this mechanical life form. Chen dared to say this because after possessing the Cybertron crystal, it was not a very difficult thing to create a mechanical life form. All he needed to do was to understand the body structure of the mechanical life form. Yes, I will do my best. Fate looked at the bodies of the mechanical life forms greedily. For some reason, Chen looked at him and remembered a movie he had watched a long time ago when he was still on Blue Star. In that movie, there was also a similar doctor, But that doctor was obsessed with monsters and even regarded monsters as his wife. When he thought that fate might be like that doctor, he couldn't help but feel an inexplicable chill. Chapter 63 Business Tycoon. General, this is the 20,273rd civilization we have captured on this trip. In the active universe, the Light Blade Corps led by you received a liquidation order from Chen 3 months ago. The Light Blade Corps, which consists of 1 million third-level space battleships and 8 million second-level space battleships, has captured 30,273 civilizations in just 3 months with a marching speed of more than 10,000 times. At the same time, the Silver Glory Corps led by Himo also successfully captured 29,914 civilizations. Now, Chen is less than 800,000 civilizations away from obtaining the Wushwang token. The reason why Chen was so anxious to issue the high-speed invasion order 3 months ago was because the number of civilizations left in the active universe was less than 20 million. In the past 3 months, although the Shura Civilization has captured more than 60,000 civilizations, there are only about 13 million civilizations left in the active universe. It seems that if I want to achieve the goal of capturing 1 million civilizations, I must exchange that thing from the exchange. Chen opened the exchange function, although he has been looking for some items suitable for the current development of Shura Civilization on the exchange. However, the prices of those items are sometimes too expensive, such as the item called Dynamo Evil Soul that he saw not long ago. After using this item, a layer of evil souls can be attached to the hulls of all the warships of this civilization. It is called evil souls, but it is actually just a special liquid metal. However, it is really useful. This liquid metal can automatically repair the damage of the warship, and after the repair, the defense capability of the repaired part can even reach the level of the hull of a 4th-level warship. However, Tai Hanhun, who owns this item, put the price of this item on the exchange at 100 million blue diamonds. To be honest, if there is no large-scale warship war, and the opponent's strength is equal to or stronger than his own, this item is useless. But if such a war really occurs, there will be other items on the Divine Diamond Mall that are cheaper than this price, which can help him recover losses or win. But now the item that Chen wants to exchange is not this one. It is something called a 1-year production value exchange card. With this exchange card, you can directly obtain all the items with the maximum production value within 1 year of the current civilization. However, the price of this exchange card on the exchange is as high as 24 million blue diamonds. This exchange card is actually worth the price, but that was in the later stage of the game. It doesn't make sense to buy it at such a high price now. But if Chen uses this card in the event universe, then, the military strength of the Shura Civilization, which enjoys more than 2,000 times the production speed bonus in the event universe, will be directly doubled. In this way, Chen will be able to obtain the unparalleled token and establish an alliance with a maximum number of 300,000 civilizations. And because the alliance token does not need to be exchanged by activity points, Chen can eventually have a large number of points to exchange for many useful props in the event mall. 1-year production value exchange card. You can obtain the maximum number of products in 1 year under the current civilization's production speed. Selling price: 24 million blue diamonds. Chen finally set the purchase confirmation button. After all, the value of the unparalleled token cannot be measured by money. At the same time when Chen bought this exchange card, the player who sold this card also received the information of successful sale. To be honest, when Zhang Yunyun saw this news, she was shocked. This exchange card was opened from the lucky treasure box she exchanged in the activity mall of Zili Universe. The reason for exchanging this lucky treasure box is that it is the only one she can exchange. Zhang Yunyun's civilization is not strong. She is a salesperson in reality, but it is obvious that her sales experience has not allowed her to develop her civilization smoothly. In the activities of Zili Universe, she was one of the first players to be eliminated. She only got 5 points in total, and the only thing she could exchange was the lucky treasure box with a shipment rate of less than 0.01%. But what she didn't expect was that she not only opened a prop from the lucky treasure box, but also this prop could quickly improve the strength of Civilization. Although she is not good at running Civilization, she is good at business. She knows the value of this item very well, but she also knows that this game is very cruel, so she put the price of 24 million blue diamonds. In this way, if no one redeems it, she can use this item as a trump card at a critical moment. And if someone redeems it, then the 24 million blue diamonds will not only allow her to open an auction house, but she will also have the initial acquisition funds. She also knows that the only person who can redeem this item is Chen, the current top player of the game. After all, the forum has speculated that Chen has recharged at least 100 million yuan, so the VIP level has reached level 10, but she didn't expect Chen to actually redeem it. Looking at the data of blue diamonds, 24,016 that appeared above the exchange in front of her, she felt as if she was dreaming. She immediately tried to click on the interface of the auction house, but the system immediately began to prompt, "Your number of transactions is less than 500 times, and you cannot establish an auction house." Oh, right. Zhang Yunyun slapped her head and immediately clicked on the exchange, intending to purchase a batch of second-level space battleships to strengthen the military strength and also meet this number of transactions. At the current exchange, the average price of a second-level space battleship is 2,000 blue diamonds, which is very expensive, but Zhang Yunyun still bought 450 ships at a low price, with a cost of 860,000 blue diamonds, which met the transaction limit of 500 times. The current monthly remaining auction house construction quota, 1. The current auction price, 500,000 blue diamonds. Starting price, and each price increase must not be less than 10,000 blue diamonds. Zhang Yunyun immediately clicked on the auction and raised the auction price to 510,000 blue diamonds. There are less than 3 days left in this month, which means that if nothing unexpected happens, Zhang Yunyun will successfully establish the first auction house in the game. However, 3 days later, at night, the last minute before the end of this month, Chen clicked on the exchange auction function and was stunned when he saw the auction price of 510,000 blue diamonds. In the end, in order to ensure that he would definitely get a quota for the establishment of the exchange, he entered an auction price of 1.01 million blue diamonds. On the other hand, Zhang Yunyun, who also wanted to ensure that he could get a quota for the establishment of the auction house, was not so bold in the end and only filled in 600,000 blue diamonds. Congratulations on establishing the first auction house in the game. Private channel. Because your bid is lower than other players, you have not been able to build an auction house. Private channel. Congratulations to player Chen for obtaining the title of Business Tycoon. The entertainment function has been enabled. All server channel. The setting of the auction house here has changed a little. I have made changes in Chapter 54. Players who have reached 500 transactions and a transaction amount of 1 million blue diamonds can buy and sell. After meeting this condition, the auction house can be established. Ordinary players who want to participate in the auction only need to meet the threshold specified by the auction house. At the same time, I would like to thank everyone for their rewards and recommendation votes. Chapter 64 Mysterious Boy. Yes, that's right. Chen had prepared for the auction a long time ago. Of course, the operation of the auction house was mainly handled by Yunfeng. In fact, for Chen, he did not lack the income that the auction could bring, but establishing an auction can not only help him improve the reputation of the alliance he established in the future, but also may allow him to obtain a title, and this is indeed the case. Based on the previous situations, Chen roughly guessed how to obtain the title. Basically, the opening of each new function will be accompanied by a title. Only after achieving the title can the next function be launched. For example, the newly launched entertainment function. The entertainment function actually creates a vast dream world space for players. The facilities in the space now include these: arena, dance hall. Players can register in the arena, and after registration, they can go on the arena stage. The arena will set up a betting game for each game. Players watching the game can participate in betting on which side of the battle will win. The winning side of the battle will get 10% of all the bets on the other side's victory. Those who bet on his victory can share the remaining 90% of the other party's gambling money according to the percentage of their own gambling money in their own gambling money. The dance hall is similar to the entertainment industry. Players can choose to become stars and walk the path to stardom. Of course, the dance hall has its own set of procedures. If the popularity value gained by the player is not enough, she will be expelled from the dance hall. On the contrary, if the player proves her value, she will be promoted by the dance hall. According to Chen's current speculation, the entertainment function may also be able to obtain a title. Of course, it is also possible that this path to obtaining the title has come to an end. After all, there may be ways to obtain the title on the other side of the qualifying competition. Chen, Yunfeng, I have already obtained the quota for the construction of the auction house, and I have also submitted the required construction resources. It only takes 3 days for the auction house to be built. You can now list a unit of low-grade metal on the exchange, and mark the price at 30 million blue diamonds. This money will be used as the operating funds of the auction house. Yunfeng, okay, boss, is your progress on the Wushwang token going smoothly? Chen, although it may be a bit reluctant, it should be no problem. Yunfeng, boss, come on. Chen leaned back in his chair. The Shura Civilization is very busy now. Both the main universe and the active universe are expanding their territory. The Academy of Sciences is also busy with the research and manufacture of mechanical life forms. Now it is Chen who is the most relaxed. Chen clicked on the personal interface. Chen, the Lord of Shura Civilization. Title: Godly Tycoon, Plunderer, Overlord, Business Tycoon. Ranking: Wushwang Fighting God 1762 points. Currently ranked first. Power: 10,145. Currently ranked first. Divine Energy: 1.63 billion divine diamonds, 272.16 billion blue diamonds, 23 million Shura Civilization, Level 4 Civilization, 250, Main Star, Shura Star Population, 11.6 billion people. First Generation Super Soldiers, 2.48 million/2.5 million, Second Generation Super Soldiers, 640,000–700,000, Third Generation Super Soldiers, 37,000–40,000, First Generation Space Battleships, 5,000, Second Generation Space Battleships, 375,300, Third Generation Space Battleships, 25,000. Main Technology, Third Generation Super Soldier Genes, Level 3, Third Level Space Battleships, Level 3, Third Level Weapons, Level 3, 4th Level Supercomputers, Level 3, 3rd Level Civilian Technology, Level 3, Branch Technology, Nanomecha, Secondary, Gundam Robot, 1st Level, Chain Link, 1st Level, Light Wing, 1st Level, Virtual Vision System, Secondary, Void Shield, 1st Level, Subordinate Civilization, Rambo Civilization, Secondary, 10.7 billion people, Yangtze Civilization, Secondary, 9.2 billion people, Clay Civilization, Secondary, 10.1 billion people, Monet Civilization, Secondary, 9.9 billion people, Embers Civilization, Secondary, 8.6 billion people, Nolan Civilization, Secondary, 10.3 billion people. Ecological Star, Yongwang Star, Secondary, 10.3 billion people, Miracle Star, Secondary, 10.1 billion people, Mingxuan Star, Secondary, 10.2 billion people, Mingnui Star, 1st Level, 6.2 billion people, Kailing Star, 1st Level, 4.3 billion people, Divine Energy Collection Tower, 187,624. This is the current data of Shura Civilization. This is an extremely amazing data. In the previous life, Chen's Moling Civilization wanted to develop to the current level. At least another 6 or 7 years would be needed. There's nothing to do now, so why not go out for a walk? Chen left the palace and strolled on the street in casual clothes. Among the 4 cosmic resources, Mineral resources are often overlooked, compared with the improvement of a civilization's military strength by other resources. The characteristic buildings built by mineral resources are somewhat less eye-catching, because if you want to use mineral resources to build buildings, you must first obtain building drawings. However, there are no building drawings in the God Diamond Mall, and no building drawings have been refreshed in the limited time mall so far. And if Chen has the building drawings, forget it. All the places he is strolling around now will be demolished and new characteristic buildings will be built. Don't run, stop. A loud shout attracted Chen's attention. I saw a boy running all the way with a bag in his arms, and behind him there were two middle-aged people, a man and a woman, chasing him. But the boy didn't run far before three robot police stopped him. These robot police did not carry powerful laser weapons. Their main means of catching criminals is to use their bodies to forcibly take the other party down. Although the robot police had a mechanical body and a height of more than 2 meters. But the little boy was not afraid at all. A laser sword suddenly appeared in his hand, and he directly cut off all the mechanical arms that stretched out to him. The appearance of the laser sword made everyone around him retreat in fear, including the two people who were chasing the little boy before. But the little boy did not do anything because he had an extra laser sword in his hand. He just ran away immediately after taking a look at the man and the woman. Zhao, I want all the information about this little boy. Chen did not stop the little boy, but he did become curious about this little boy. Where did a little boy of this age get such a controlled weapon? And since he had a laser sword, he did not make any move to hurt anyone. In addition, the little boy cut off those mechanical arms quickly, accurately, and ruthlessly. It is impossible to achieve without special training. My king, we did not find any relevant information about this boy in our database. Oh? Chen was a little surprised. It seems that things are getting interesting. Chen looked at the direction where the boy left. Chapter 65, Ghost Civilization. Sister, I'm back. Xiuzi returned to a dilapidated abandoned building with the bag he stole. Inside the house was a girl lying on the bed, wearing a white dress and looking a little weak. Brother, you stole things again. Xiuzi looked at Xiuzi dissatisfiedly and struggled to sit up from the bed. Don't move. Xiuzi hurriedly supported Xiuzi. Your injury hasn't healed yet. Don't move. I have no choice but to steal. We don't have the identity certificate of this civilization. We can't work, nor can we pretend to be orphans and enter the orphanage. Xiuzi sighed. Their civilization used to be a 6th-level civilization, located in the middle of the universe, called the Gaitong Civilization. The people of the Gaitong Civilization are born with the ability to shield the perception of electrical signals, which is why they were not discovered by the Shura Civilization. But unfortunately, their civilization was invaded by a 7th-level civilization. After a 10-year war, their civilization was defeated. At the last moment, the king of the Ghost Tong Civilization opened the cosmic random space teleporter he had obtained by chance, and sent his 2 children in, trying to preserve the last royal bloodline of the Ghost Tong Civilization. But just before entering, the enemy rushed into the palace. Although the king of the Ghost Tong Civilization blocked their attacks with his body, Xiuyi was still affected. In the end, Xiuzi and his injured sister Xiuyi, the only remaining brother and sister of the royal family of the Ghost Tong Civilization, came to the Shura Civilization. But after arriving here, they found that this civilization was already an interstellar civilization, and this civilization had registered the identity of every citizen. Whether entering any large public place requires identity verification. Although Xiuzi is just a child, he also knows that he does not have the capital to negotiate with the king of this civilization now. He can only take his sister to find this abandoned building and make ends meet by stealing things. He wants to wait until the day when the first generation of divine body genes in his body are activated before going to negotiate with the Shura Civilization. Otherwise, the divine body genes in his body are likely to be robbed by this civilization. But what he didn't know was that Chen had already come to the outside of their house and obtained all their conversations and scenes inside the house through the virtual vision system. Sister, you should focus on taking care of your body now. When the first generation of divine body genes in my body are activated, I will find a way to heal you. Zai applied ointment on Zai's back with heartache. On the fair back of this little girl who was less than 8 years old, there was a scar like the sun. That was where she was attacked. But if it was just a skin injury, it would be fine. There was still a residual dark energy raging in Zai's body, and that dark energy was constantly consuming her vitality. It's okay, brother. Although Zai was in pain, she still comforted her brother. Chen watched from outside the house, and his heart was also touched. He had fought thousands of battles in his previous life and experienced countless scenes of life and death. He knew very well that the fall of a pillar of a family and the death of a civilized king would have a great impact on those who were protected by him. Therefore, Chen treated the families of his own civilization's soldiers very well. Every time he conquered a civilization, he would provide various kinds of help to the people there. In a universe with limited resources, war is inevitable, and so is death. But if every civilization is willing to leave mercy behind the war, then wars caused by revenge will definitely be greatly reduced. I have heard your conversation. Chen's voice sounded from outside the house, and he chose to directly bring up the topic. If a prince who has just experienced the destruction of civilization is not guided to the right path, the fire of revenge will burn more and more in his heart, and eventually twist him. And if you just give help silently, it will also be useless in the end. Directly negotiating with the other party and putting him at the level of a king is the most reasonable thing in this situation. Although your civilization has been destroyed, as long as you still have the genes of the divine body in your body, I can put you at the level of a king for negotiation. Chen walked into the house. Who are you? How did you know we are here? Zai looked at Chen as if he was facing a great enemy, and cold sweat slid down his forehead. I am the king of this civilization. I happened to see you stealing something before, so I followed you. Shuzi can indeed block electrical signals, but this ability is ineffective for super soldiers like Chen. What do you want? Zai's head was very flustered. For a 10-year-old child, it was difficult for him to calm down in such a situation. Since I have proposed to elevate this negotiation to the level of king's negotiations between civilizations, it would be too shabby to wash in such a place. Chen did not directly answer Zai's question. He directly opened the space device in this area through Zhao and brought the three of them to the palace. Well, in such an environment, it is more appropriate to continue the king's negotiations. Chen himself is now in a wide conference hall. There is a long table in the center of the conference hall, and a chair is placed at each end of the long table. Considering Zai's current weak body, he directly sent the girl to the medical room of the palace. Where did you hide my sister? Zai stared at Chen and asked angrily. Your sister is safe and is now receiving treatment from our civilization. Chen replied, and asked Zhao to show Zai's current projection screen. So, what do you want to do? You shouldn't ask me what I want to do. Although your civilization was occupied, you survived as a member of the royal family, and you have the genes of a divine body in your body, so our conversation can still be conducted at the level of civilization. What you should consider now is what you need from our civilization and what you can give to our civilization. This is what a king should consider if you are still trying to restore your civilization to its former glory. Chen's tone revealed solemnity, and he really regarded this negotiation as a negotiation between civilizations. Humphrey, your civilization is not even a divine body civilization. What can you give us? Zai shook his head disdainfully. From his point of view, this was indeed the case. Even if his civilization was destroyed, it was a level 6 civilization before, and it was a level 7 civilization that conquered them. The Shura Civilization was just a level 4 civilization without any level 4 backbone technology. But my civilization can now easily kill you. Don't forget, although I am saving your sister now, your sister's life is also in our hands. Chen's eyes revealed cunning and amusement. Chapter 66 Temporary Examination. You are simply a scoundrel. Zai stood up from his seat angrily. Yes, and I am threatening you now. Is this the king's negotiation you mentioned? Zai said sarcastically. Yes, This is the king's negotiation. Everything is based on interests. Negotiations between civilizations do not consider friendship and sympathy. Interests are the most important. I can gain more benefits through threats. So why don't I threaten? So what you should think about now is how to get the benefits you want and satisfy me. Chen looked indifferent. I don't have anything to give you. My civilization has been destroyed. No, you do. Chen stared straight at Xiuzi, and his meaning was very clear. If you want the divine body gene in my body, then I can only tell you that it is impossible. Xiuzi stood on the chair and supported the table with both hands. He was only 10 years old and was very short. In order to show his momentum, he could only do this. It doesn't have to be the divine body gene. Chen smiled. When you grow up, become a general of my Shura civilization. When you have created enough value for my civilization, I will naturally let my army help you rebuild a civilization. Humphrey, can a civilization rebuilt like this still be called the Ghost Tong civilization? Except for me and Xiuyi, no third person has the blood of the Ghost Tong clan. Even if the technology of genetic modification is used, these people are not the people of your Shura civilization in essence. Xiuzi was not so easily fooled. But what if I can help you find other people from the Ghost Tong civilization? How can you find them? The location of our civilization is separated from your civilization by countless large star fields. In the area where our civilization is located, civilizations like yours are at the mercy of others. No, no, no. Chen shook his head. If I say that my civilization is protected by the demon civilization, do you think I can do what I said? Chen directly brought up the demon civilization. Evil, demon civilization. Xiuzi looked at Chen in shock, but his expression changed immediately. Are you kidding me? How could the demon civilization come to such a remote place to shelter such a weak civilization? Whether you believe it or not, this is the fact. Chen took out the documents related to Nagusa and the Shura civilization. This is impossible. Although Xiuzi still said that he didn't believe it, he was already 80% convinced when he saw these documents. Nothing is impossible. It's still the same negotiation conditions, but now I will add the condition of helping you find the survivors of the Ghost Tai civilization. How about it? What do you think now? A virtualized document appeared in Chen's hand. As a subsidiary civilization of the demon civilization, he can put the symbol of the demon civilization on the negotiation document, which means that both parties will complete the negotiation under the witness of the demon civilization, as long as the two negotiating parties violate the requirements of the document. The other party can request the demon civilization to impose sanctions. Xiuzi hesitated for a long time, and finally agreed to Chen. In fact, if it was a real king's negotiation, the result would never appear so simply. After all, Chen still took advantage of Xiuzi's young age and lack of experience. But after all, the king's negotiation is all about interests, and there is nothing wrong with Chen doing this for his own civilization. I will enter your identities into the database of the Shura civilization, and you will appear as the royal family in the future. After signing the negotiation treaty, Chen told them his resettlement plan for the two of them. Thank you. Xiuzi was still in the state of negotiation before. Now that the negotiation was over, he hadn't come back to his senses for a while. It's okay. Chen put away the negotiation documents. Zhao, find a place for them to live in the royal capital and handle the procedures for their study. After Chen gave these instructions, he left directly, and Xiuzi went to the place where Xiuyi was receiving treatment under the guidance of Zhao, a first-generation divine body that can be used by me to a certain extent in the future. Chen had already estimated that Xiuzi is now 10 years old, and the other party will awaken the first-generation divine body at about 16 years old. After another 4 or 5 years, he should master the combat power of the first-generation divine body at around 21 years old. Of course, if you want to maximize the computing power of the one-body divine body, it will take longer. But even if it was just that, it would be enough. By that time, the Shura civilization should still be only a 5th-level civilization, and Xiuzi could still provide considerable combat power for the Shura civilization. Moreover, The deterrence brought by the divine body is far stronger than that of the same level warships. Although the divine body cannot be compared with the warship in terms of destructive power, it can easily cross the opponent's interstellar defense line and directly land on the opponent's planet when facing a low-level civilization. By then, if the divine body tries to assassinate the main brain of the planet, it will be extremely easy. Even if fighting in the universe, the divine body is equally terrifying. The agility of the divine body makes it difficult for the warship to attack them. But the divine body can directly kill into the warship through the analysis of the warship's defense. Chen does not know the divine body technology of the Gaitong civilization, but since it is a divine body, it must have basic combat power. Chen went to the training area of the royal team, and new regulations were added to the new round of Virtual Combat League. The coach of each team must go to the military area to participate in the sparring training in the off-season area. If the sparring training results are not ideal, they must take the re-examination. If the coach fails the exam and the team cannot find another coach who has passed the exam, then the team will also lose the qualification to compete in this season. At the same time, the Alliance also opened a secondary league, in which the teams are some teams from elementary schools and commercial teams. The top 8 teams in the secondary league can be promoted, and the bottom 8 teams in the main league will be relegated. Chen wants to use this method to strengthen the tension of each team and let them not be content with the status quo. Since Nagusa went out and he had nothing to do, Chen planned to be a temporary test coach for the royal team. In order not to lose his own style, Chen did not go to be a temporary coach, but just a temporary test coach. Since my university has started now, the update will be transferred to the evening in the future. I hope that all readers can understand. Chapter 67, Discussion. Team 1 and Team 2, let's play a match, Chen said, looking at the young men in front of him. He wanted to see how strong these guys were now. Tianfeng, Captain. Liang Hao, Commander. Yunzai, Team 1. Lingling, Team 1. Yufan, Team 1. Li Peng, Team 1, play against each other. Shirley, Captain of Team 2. Kawen Yanbo, Commander of Team 2. Linu, Team 2. Jubin, Team 2. Ludu, Team 2. Mo Yan, Team 2. The game begins. In the new season, the royal team is divided into Team 1 and Team 2. Team 1 still has the same privileges as last season, while Team 2 will participate in the main league like other teams. The members of Team 1 are all substitutes for the royal team last season, while the members and substitutes of Team 2 and the substitutes of Team 1 are all newly recruited by the royal team. Iron Tower. Team 1's captain Tianfeng took a step forward at the beginning of the game, and 4 giant shields appeared outside his body. These 4 giant shields stood around him, and ordinary attacks could not cause him any harm. Of course, if it was just like this, it would naturally be far from enough. The biggest function of these 4 giant shields is that they can synthesize a special magnetic field. This magnetic field can make the opponent's melee players receive a certain amount of attack rebound after attacking. This is actually some of the subsidies given by the Dream World to those who choose the single soldier mechanical development path. This implanted weapon will have some special abilities during the upgrade process due to the influence of the user. Of course, this implanted weapon with this characteristic is only available to civilizations with the single soldier mechanical development path. Tianfeng's weapon Iron Tower made the second team dare not act rashly for a while. They need to wait for the opportunity. The magnetic field range of the Iron Tower is limited. When they need to wait for the first team to take action, they will have the opportunity. Tianfeng, you move forward slowly. The space on this map is limited. They can't just wait like this. Liang Hao, the commander of the first team, a melee fighter with strong assault ability, said, the captain of the first team is responsible for defense and serves as a protective shield for the whole team. The commander is responsible for launching the attack and grasping the rhythm. The second team is different. Shirley, the captain of the second team, is a heavy firepower player. The commander Kawen Yanbo is a sniper. His sniper rifle is equipped with something that can obtain a high-altitude view. With a good command of the field of vision, He can provide the most reasonable combat plan for Team 2. The opponent's overall formation is advancing forward. They should want to force us into a dead end. In this case, we will be the party that has to initiate the attack first. We don't need to pay attention to them, just turn your back to them and move at high speed. Although this may cause some damage, it can also disperse the Iron Tower formation. Line you are the only assaulter in our team. They don't have our field of vision. In a while, you need to find a place to stop halfway and ambush the field of vision. Wait until the opponent's formation has problems. Whoever is outside the Iron Tower, you will attack him. I will fire at the target while you attack, and strive to kill him with one shot. Then, the whole team will counter-press, 5 against 4. Even if they are better than us in technology, I'm afraid they can't defeat us in a head-on battle. In the forest at dusk, one person from Team 2 suddenly left the team. On the other side, Team 1 was indeed chasing Team 2. Since Team 2 ran a little faster overall, all the members of Team 1 had to chase at full speed. A heavy firepower player from Team 1 eventually became somewhat disconnected from the team. Linu rushed forward, and Ka and Yenbo's sniper rifle also opened fire. Click. Everything stopped, and the members of Team 1 and Team 2 exited the virtual equipment. They looked at Chen suspiciously, not understanding why he wanted to end the game. There's no need to play. Chen looked at them and shook his head with some regret. After that, I will conduct a 5-day short training for you. After 5 days, this game will continue. The result will affect whether I am willing to put your names on the list in the end. Chen's list is no longer a secret in the Virtual Combat League. All the players hope to be included in the list and become real super soldiers. For a moment, the eyes of the 12 starting players present lit up. Chapter 68. The second main star. Boom. Linu fled from the explosion zone in a panic. That's right, 5 days ago, Team 1 had already seen through Team 2's tactics. Team 2 also realized this during the 5 days of training. That's why Linu avoided being taken away by Team 1 in one wave. Surely, cover Linu's retreat with artillery fire. Others prepare to launch the first round of attack, aiming at Tianfeng. Ka and Yanbo said in the team voice. However, unlike Team 2, the commander of Team 1 did not speak. Now it was their captain who was commanding Team 1. Quickly restore the formation, with me as the core. Ling Zhuan, your magnetic chain is ready at any time, and someone comes to connect them immediately. Don't let them leave easily. Chen looked at the game put out by Zhao and nodded slightly. He was indeed quite satisfied in his heart. At least Team 2 was no longer afraid of Tianfeng's defense, and the captain of Team 1 was able to give some command. Although the command ability was not very good, it was at least the first step. In the end, although Team 1 was slightly at a disadvantage in tactics due to Tianfeng's shortcomings, in the end, Team 1 still barely won the victory with its technical advantages. Ledu, Yunyan, what do you think of these guys now? Chen turned his head and looked at the two people behind him. Ledu, former captain of the royal team, now commander of the Shura Guards. Yunyan, former vice-captain of the royal team, now commander of the Shura Guards. Feng's command ability still needs to be improved. A team needs at least 2 brains to be strong, 1 main brain and 1 sub-brain. Although the main brain is the main commander and misjudgment is common, no one can stay calm forever. When the main brain loses its composure, the role of the sub-brain is reflected. Ledu expressed his thoughts, but Coach Nagusa believes that only 1 brain is needed. If a command error leads to a loss of the game, the brain will be fully responsible. Yunyan added slightly. After all, the two of them had grown a lot under Nagusa's guidance. Everyone has his own opinion. Nagusa's way of commanding is prone to cause the whole team to fail due to the mistake of one person. And the way I advocate is easy to divide the team into 2 factions. The 2 people who can command may have a gap because of different ideas. Chen's words are both an evaluation of Team 1 and Team 2. It is also an advice to Ledu and Yunyan, hoping that the 2 of them will not have conflicts when dealing with the affairs of the guards. Yes, I will listen to your teachings, the 2 said with their heads down. Tomorrow I will go to the front line to deal with the construction of the second main star on the front line. Yunyan will lead 2,000 space battleships to follow me. Ledu, You will stay and take charge of the remaining important tasks of the guards. With the continuous expansion of Shura Civilization, it is difficult to cope with the consumption of the front-line army by relying only on fortresses and administrative stars. So 2 days ago, after Zhao told Chen about this, Chen immediately instructed the I-Chang team of Shura Civilization to go to the front line to build the second main star. And because the second main star is of great importance, Chen plans to go to the front line in person to supervise. After all, the role of the second main star is not just to provide supplies for the frontline troops. Later, this second main star will also play the role of guiding other administrative stars around. The administrative star can be compared to the city on the blue star, and the second main star is the provincial capital. Once the second main star is established, the Shura Civilization will completely become a cosmic country. After all, the Shura Civilization is still very weak, and there are not many administrative stars. It cannot be called a cosmic empire, my king. The construction of the second main star is very important, and your safety is even more important. We have 5,000 space battleships ready to start, so let's all go. No need. Chen shook his head. The safety of the main star is equally important, and at present, only the officers and soldiers on 2,000 space battleships of the Shura Guards are truly elite. It's enough to bring the elite. There are also Yura's troops on the second main star. Those guards should train more. When Chen finished this sentence, Team 1 and Team 2 also completed the game settlement. The conversation between the three people stopped here. On the second day, Chen, under the protection of 2,000 warships led by Yunyan, went to the second main star which was under construction. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69 Alliance formed. King, if we want to build a second main star, we may need more equipment, Yura said to Chen. Of course. Chen took out some of the equipment he had exchanged from his personal room to build a second main star. These are just some small defense equipment. Once these things are installed, this place will have a certain degree of defense, and your troops will not have to stay here. Yes, Yura nodded. Many of these equipment can be loaded on warships. You can go and have a look later. After these equipment are loaded, there will definitely be a lot left. When the time comes, you can go to the ordnance department and ask for it to be installed on your ships. The equipment that Chen brought was all the branch technology products of civilizations that took the path of technological weapon development. However, since it is now listed on the exchange, there are not many equipment that can enhance the military strength of the Shura Civilization, so Chen has not been able to arm all the warships. Okay. Yura walked towards the equipment. There are only 3 generals in the current Shura Civilization's Space Combat Army. All officers above the rank of general in the Space Combat Army must wear white military coats when leading troops to battle and during office hours, with the word Xura written on the back of the coat. In today's Shura Civilization, the rank of the army is automatically reduced by 1.5 levels when converted to the Space Combat Army. In other words, it is a promotion for an army general to be transferred to the Space Combat Army as a lieutenant general. In Chen's expectation, the Shura Civilization will have 10 generals in the future, 6 of which correspond to the 6 directions in the space coordinate system. The remaining 3 generals will be responsible for the defense of each star field and the support of the other 6 generals' armies. The last general needs to guard the Shura star and protect the royal family. Today's Yura and Himo will become the generals guarding the 6 directions in the future, and Yunuo will be one of the 3 generals guarding the star field. Yunfeng, boss, more and more players are starting to prepare for alliances now. Although I have recruited many players before, many people are also planning to join other alliances for preparation. Yunfeng's sudden message was actually expected by Chen. After all, after the alliance function is enabled, Players who can form alliances will definitely start preparing. A player who is only in the middle of the preparation group that Yunfeng pulled out may enjoy the treatment of high-level players if he joins an ordinary alliance. Some ordinary players also went to other preparation alliances because they were worried that they would not be valued and respected by Chen. As for those high-level players, some of them joined other preparation alliances because they already had alliance tokens, and some joined other preparation alliances for other reasons. In this way, 1/3 of the people that Yunfeng originally recruited left. Chen, I understand. Let others stay calm. I only have less than 10,000 attack points left in the event to get the Wushwang token. Chen, also tell them that after joining the alliance, those who have made certain contributions to the alliance will be rewarded. Yunfeng, I understand. 5 days later, the Zuli Universe event ended. The Shura Civilization conquered a total of 1,005,678 civilizations and successfully obtained the Wushwang token. Not only that, Chen also had 2,506,789 event points. However, he was not in a hurry to open the event mall, because establishing an alliance is the most important thing at the moment. Congratulations to player Chen for consuming the Wushwang token to fight and establish the Wushwang level alliance. Shura Empire. Chen opened the event interface, which had unlocked multiple functions. Alliance Star Map. Every player can obtain the star map view of other players in his alliance. Alliance Bounty. The leader, Deputy Alliance and Commander of the Alliance can issue a bounty to a designated civilization or alliance. Any civilization that kills it can get a bounty. Alliance Forces. The game will open the Alliance universe, and each alliance can enter the universe. By conquering the NPC civilization in the universe, different development bonuses can be obtained. This is the function of the first-level alliance. And the Shura Empire with 100,000 people will undoubtedly gain the most benefits. There is a high probability that there will be no update tomorrow, because of military training. Sometimes it is too tiring, and the number of words updated recently is small. Sorry. Chapter 70 September 29th Notice. Since I am in military training now, I don't have time to update. Even if I do, there may be many stupid mistakes. So I will stop updating for a while. And the update will resume on October 10th, because our military training time is from September 27th to October 10th. If I have time during this period, I will also update it. Now I can only say sorry to all the readers who are following the update. Chapter 71, Suppressing the Surprise. The military training has ended and the latest chapter will be released tonight, so you don't have to worry about not seeing the update today. Chapter 72 High-Level Meeting. Lei Mu, congratulations on the successful establishment of our alliance. Jack, boss is awesome. Mers, to be honest, I really didn't expect our boss to succeed. Chulan, it seems that the alliance universe has been opened, but you can choose your own birthplace when you enter. What do the bosses of our alliance think? Zuyi, congratulations on the successful establishment of our alliance. Chen Ping, wow, I just used the Alliance Star Map to look at the sphere of influence of our leader. It feels like our leader is playing a cracked version of shocked and crying, laughing and crying covering face. After the alliance is established, you can get a chat channel specially provided by the Dream Realm, which contains many entertainment functions, which is incomparable to the alliance group that Yunfeng pulled out before. Although the content of the current alliance group is mainly congratulations on the establishment of the alliance and some meaningless words, but some content does need to be done by Chen and other management. Yunfeng had selected a group of people who could serve as management for Chen a long time ago, after the alliance was established. These people were also appointed one by Chen, today's leader of Shura Empire. Chen, with a power value of 12,276, ranked first on the power list. Vice leader, Yunfeng, with a power value of 5,762, ranked 276,841 on the power list. Commander, Luoji, with a power value of 7,614, ranked 6th on the power list. Commander, Willie Delt, with a power value of 7,421, ranked 9th on the power list. Commander Nolan, with a power value of 7,331, ranked 15th on the power list. Commander Wei Ling, with a power value of 7,164, ranked 32nd on the power list. Diplomat Yan Zhu, with a power value of 7,379, ranked 12th on the power list. Diplomat William Genos, with a power value of 7,012, ranked 82nd on the power list. In addition, there are 40 generals and 500 non-commissioned officers. And because Yun Feng had found a particularly good chatterbox in the group before, although his strength was not very good, he had a good chat with many big guys and members, so he became the local manager. Local Commander Q, power value 4,726, power list 10,624,771. 40 generals lead 40 legions, and each legion has 10 non-commissioned officers to assist in management. Each commander can lead 10 generals, and he will also get an additional guard legion in addition to the 10 legions he already has, and this legion also has 10 non-commissioned officers to assist in management. Yunf and Mushin, as Deputy Alliance and Alliance Leader, can have 3 guard legions, and the number of non-commissioned officers in each legion is the same as that of other legions. Alliance Leader Mo Chen, everyone. The Alliance universe is now accessible. There are currently 36 major star fields that can be chosen as birthplaces, and 6 core star fields. What do you think? Commander Nolan, there are domain walls between the different major star fields in the Alliance universe, so cross-star field operations will be very difficult. I think we can enter multiple star fields to compete. General Liang Jin, I agree to enter multiple star fields. We have the capital to fight separately. Deputy Alliance Leader In Feng, I also think we can fight separately. Most of the other managers in the Alliance also agreed with the idea of fighting separately. Mo Chen opened the Alliance universe map, and after carefully examining the locations, characteristics, and bonuses of the 42 star fields, he selected 5 star fields. Alliance Leader Mo Chen. In that case, I think I have some ideas. Alliance Leader Mo Chen. Picture Alliance Leader Mo Chen. These 5 star fields are only separated by 1 star field, and they also occupy most of the contact areas with the core star field. Alliance Leader Mo Chen, I plan to let each commander lead his troops to capture 1 star field respectively, and Yun Feng and I will lead our 6 legions to capture another one. Alliance Leader Mo Chen, however, among these 5 star fields, 3 are in direct contact with the core star field, and the competition will be very fierce. Commander Liu Ji, it's okay, just do it. Local Manager Qiuhi, we can defeat them with our numerical advantage, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Non-commissioned Officer Lin Qin, even if we fight separately, we still have numerical advantages against other alliances, not to mention that our quality is also top-notch. All the senior leaders in the alliance showed a strong desire to fight. Alliance Leader Mo Chen, then let's get started. The Sakaro Starfield is the most important of the 5 starfields. I will go there in person. For the other 4 starfields, the 4 of you can discuss the commanders among yourselves, then lead your own troops and enter those starfields in a unified manner. Yes. After exiting the Alliance chat channel, Mo Chen did not immediately enter the Alliance universe, because first of all, his fellow members still need to be managed in a unified manner, and secondly, the Alliance universe, although you can now choose your birthplace, it cannot be officially opened. So Mo Chen chose to enter the activity exchange interface of the Zili universe first. He still holds more than 2.5 million activity points. Chapter 73 Flying Over. 3rd Generation Super Soldier Gene, 600 points. 3rd Level Weapon, 500 points. 3rd Level Space Battleship, 1,200 points. 3rd Level Space Device, 3,000 points. 3rd Generation Supercomputer, 10,000 points. Limited to 2 units, Super Mecha. After loading, it can have the basic capabilities of a 5th generation super soldier and can be used for 10 hours, 600 points. Unicorn HJ3 Model War Robot, 70 meters high, with the combat effectiveness of a 3rd level combat robot, with space combat capabilities and 1st level space technology, and is good at charging, 800 points. Unicorn YT6 model war robot, 86 meters high, with the combat effectiveness of a third-level combat robot, with space combat capabilities and first-level space technology, and is good at defense, 900 points. Branch technology Silver Glow, third-level branch technology of physical evolution, which allows a layer of silver glow to appear on the surface of the body, which can merge with the light. In any place with light, physical means cannot cause damage to it, 10,000 points. Branch technology, Star War armor, level 3 branch technology for individual mechanical equipment, armor made with low-level star energy drive technology, can provide super soldiers with relatively objective attack and defense capabilities, requires pre-branch technology, low-level star energy drive technology, 15,000 points. Branch technology, low-level star energy drive technology, level 2 branch technology for individual mechanical equipment and technological weapons. Compared to the crude use of light energy by pre-nuclear civilization, this technology can use star energy more efficiently, 6,000 points. Branch technology, Disk Warship, level 3 branch technology for technological weapons. This is a warship that is inferior to conventional space warships in attack and defense, but this warship makes full use of level 3 space technology. If the enemy does not have the ability to use space above level 3, it will not be able to attack this warship, 12,000 points. Only things that Chen can redeem will appear in the event redemption mall. However, because his points are too high, all the goods in the event mall appear in front of him. Among the dazzling array of goods, except for some basic unit resources and lottery boxes, Chen wants almost everything. In fact, he did have the capital to buy a lot, according to his speculation. Apart from him, the player with the most points would not exceed 70,000. The Shura Civilization can completely widen the gap between itself and other player civilizations through this time. Level 3 supercomputers are definitely needed. The territory of the Shura Civilization is constantly expanding. Even Zhao, who has become a level 4 supercomputer, cannot manage every place very finely. Those combat robots can also be exchanged to make up for the lack of defensive combat power as the territory expands. The focus of exchange is definitely branch technology. The Shura Civilization is already a level 4 civilization. It is estimated that it is less than 20 years away from becoming a divine civilization. It is necessary to exchange some of the branch technology of single-soldier machines as a base. At the same time, if the Alliance universe wants to start a war and successfully capture all the major star regions, the branch technology of scientific weapons also needs to be exchanged. Those production-increasing bonus props can also be exchanged. In the end, Chen exchanged 2 supercomputers, 20,000 points, and 500 unicorn combat robots, 425,000 points. Branch technologies of individual mechanical equipment, star armor, lightning drive, spider web, dark energy wall, space network. 32 types in total, 460,000 points. Branch technologies of science and technology weapons, silver lightning, bomb, space type, disk warship, ordinary spaceship island, black storm, large defense trap device. 29 types in total, 430,000 points. Branch technologies of comprehensive equipment, low-level star energy drive technology, low-level void energy drive technology, low-level anti-void technology, 26,000 points. Various production increasing props, 139,000. These add up to just use up all of Chen's points. Okay, with these things, the biggest difference between Shura Civilization and NPC civilizations of the same level has been made up. The next step is to build these things with the large amount of resources accumulated under the current high-speed expansion. Chen looked at the technology tree that had grown many green leaves. Despite the thousands of years of experience in his previous life, he could not hide his excitement at this time. He seemed to have seen his civilization establish an unstoppable empire in the universe. Chapter 74 The journey begins. Please select your birthplace. Sakaro Starfield. Data loading. Congratulations on entering the Alliance universe. Chen entered the Alliance universe. There were many player civilizations around him, and 1/3 of these civilizations belong to the Shura Empire. This is the horror of the current Shura Civilization. There are only a little over 6,000 alliances, most of which are bronze level, with only a few silver level, and even no gold level. After all, in the activities of the Zulu universe, there is only 1/3 level civilization, the Shura Civilization, and the other civilizations are second level civilizations. Once these civilizations go to war, it is difficult for them to win with the most losses of the enemy like the Shura Civilization. Every time they fight a war, they need a long time to recuperate, and the speed of invasion and expansion is naturally not that fast. Therefore, the total number of these alliances is only more than 700,000, and the Shura Empire itself has 100,000 members. Although they have entered 5 different large starfields in batches, the other more than 700,000 people have also been dispersed into 36 large starfields. This led to the fact that nearly half of the players in the 5-star regions in the Ashura Empire strategy plan were members of them. There were a total of 12 level 3 NPC civilizations, 4 level 4 NPC civilizations, and 1 level 5 NPC civilization in the Sakaro Star region. The NPC civilization closest to Chen was a level 3 civilization, and the distance between the two sides was only 876 light years. With level 3 space technology, it only took 25 days for the Shura Civilization's army to reach there, and there were more than 600 members of the Shura Empire around the civilization. They only needed to build a fortress, wait for the main force of the Shura Civilization to arrive there, and then cooperate with their army to basically capture that level 3 NPC civilization. Shura Empire, Sakaro Star Region War Group Chen, 10,764,489, 4,423,688, 54,553,358. Brothers, this will be our first attack target. Brothers nearby, please build a fortress, and brothers who can reach there within 25 days should also send troops. Chen, other brothers who can't reach here can also build fortresses near the NPC civilizations around them. If allied brothers around them send troops to attack this civilization, then please help build and defend it to prevent their civilization from being captured by other allies. Chen issued an order in the war group. In the first 10 days after entering, all civilizations will have a novice protection period, but once the 10-day protection period is over, civilizations in different alliances can launch mutual attacks. Therefore, those player civilizations that sent troops to follow him to attack that NPC civilization will hardly have the power to resist the attacks of other players during that period. Chen was not worried about his own civilization. After all, even if Yura's Light Blade Core and Himo's Silver Glory Core were all sent out, Shura Civilization had the ability to resist their attacks. After all, since this was the Alliance universe, Shura Civilization only had one main star of its own. In the real universe, the troops that were sent out to be stationed in various regions were now all on Shura Star. Those players who thought that the Shura Civilization's army would be greatly reduced after being sent out would inevitably receive a bloody lesson. Moreover, the first batch of Cybertron mechanical life form babies have been born. After they grow up slightly, these player civilizations will become the best touchstones to test the combat effectiveness of these robots. Yunfeng, boss, Carmine Leto, the leader of the Golden Alliance, wants to talk to you. Chen has been hoarding a large number of private messages, many of which were sent by some idle people. As for the content, those who know it. He didn't want to click to read it because he was afraid of trouble, but he was afraid that he would miss some important news, so he left a message on his personal homepage. If you want to discuss important matters with me, please first contact the Lord of Fire Cloud Civilization, Yunfeng. That's right, that's why Yunfeng has a lot of things to do every day, such as disputes among members of the Alliance and trying to win over some bigwigs. Now he has to help check these private messages and check which ones are serious and not nonsense for Chen. Golden Alliance? Chen opened the map. Sure enough, there were some members of the Golden Alliance scattered in this map. The other party should also be planning to show their skills here, but they didn't expect to run into the Shura Empire, and this alliance is a silver-level alliance. Chen, send me his personal link. Since Yunfeng will transfer this person to Chen, it means that he thinks that the other party is beneficial to the Shura Empire, and Chen will also believe in his judgment. Soon, a link was sent by Yunfeng. Chen also added the other party as a friend. But at this time, he didn't know how important the other party would bring him. Chapter 75 Transaction. Carmine Leto. Boss, hello, I came to you because I want to discuss something with you. After Chen added Carmine Leto as a friend, the other party soon sent a message. Chen, go ahead. He actually guessed what the other party wanted to say, but he still wanted the other party to say it himself. Carmine Leto. Boss, your ally is a big family. Since we are here at the same time, then we are definitely not able to compete with you. Carmine Leto. So I was thinking if I could use some things to exchange with you for a quota to capture an NPC civilization. Chen, I can exchange, but it depends on what you bring out. Carmine Leto. Apostrophe. This is a new feature launched by the Dream Realm, which only appears after the entertainment function is unlocked. Players can invite other players to enter a room. In this room, players can take out all the props they have to show each other. You can also carry out a series of entertainment activities with each other. Of course, any player can exit the room at any time. At the same time, players cannot attack other players in this room. Chen clicked OK and entered the room. After entering, he saw a man in a white suit. Generally speaking, many players wear dragon robes or king's clothes to show their majesty. Of course, many times it is to satisfy the greed for power in their hearts. Now the other party is wearing a white suit. Either this person is very low-key, or the other party can wear a white suit to show formality. After all, both parties in the communication are players. Hello. After seeing Chen enter the room, Carmine Leto immediately stepped forward, bowed slightly, and expressed his respect. We are not an unreasonable alliance, but now we have the ability to occupy all NPC civilizations, so if you want to get a quota for occupying an NPC civilization here, you must pay the corresponding price. Chen spoke directly and made everything clear, which was actually good for both parties. Of course, Carmine Leto smiled and nodded. When I knew your alliance was also here, I knew that it would be difficult for us to make a difference in this large star field. It's just a pity that since we have chosen this place as our birthplace, there is no way to reselect it. So I thought about it for a long time and discussed with the members of my alliance. We plan to use some special props that are not available on the market to trade with your alliance. Carmine Leto took out a piece of red metal about 1 cubic meter in size. This was drawn by a player of our alliance in the treasure chest. According to the preliminary analysis given by the system, this is a raw material that can be used to make top-level weapons in the later stages of the game. Chen looked at the red metal and felt that it looked familiar for some reason, but he didn't remember it for a while. Just this thing won't do. I think you should understand that I am not alone. I have 100,000 allies. To make such a decision, I need the consent of other high-level officials. You only take out such a thing. Not to mention that these things will only be useful in the later stages of the game. Even if I really need this thing, giving up an NPC civilization will result in a loss of a buff for all of our entire alliance. Just this thing is not enough. Chen rejected the other party. Although he didn't know why, he had an inexplicable sense of familiarity with the red metal. However, based on what he knew and what he could analyze, the value of this red metal has not reached that high level. Alas, Carmine Leto sighed. Boss, we are not as discerning as you, and we are not as rich as you. This thing is already one of the few treasures we can show off. This sentence reflects Carmine Leto's art of speaking. Few means that they actually have other chips that can be used for trading, but it is impossible to have too many. Therefore, he had to play the victim and tell Chen not to ask for too much, so as to avoid the deal going bad. After all, since Chen agreed to talk to him, it meant that Chen was actually willing to make such a deal. I still say that this thing alone is not enough to complete this deal. Chen naturally understood what the other party said. Then, Carl gritted his teeth and pretended to be in a very difficult situation, and finally sighed. Well, he took out another box. Special props Starcy Heart. This is a product that is produced by a high-level civilization. After compressing a small galaxy through space, using this prop consumes a lot of energy, but it is equivalent to carrying a small galaxy with you. There is micro-wormhole transportation technology in the universe, and high-level civilizations can also use higher-level micro-wormhole transportation technology. The low-level operation method of this technology can only move certain items within a certain range in space. The advanced operation method can forcibly open up a small mobile space around your body, and some things can be stored in it, just like the arsenal of the Angel King, Queen Kesha. However, the scope of such a mobile space is not large, and it can only store some individual weapons. If he has the heart of the Sea of Stars, then there is a small galaxy space, which can be used to store large weapons and artillery. This is a prop with great strategic significance. Okay, I agree to this transaction. Our alliance has established its own auction house. You can trade these two props to our auction house at the price of 1 blue diamond. Chen agreed to the transaction. In fact, with the heart of the Sea of Stars, the proceeds of this transaction have exceeded his expectations. Okay, thank you, big brother. Carl was also very excited. These two props were useless to him now. Perhaps they will have a very high value in the later stage, but that is also a matter for the future. If he fails to capture the next NPC civilization this time, then the alliance he has established with great difficulty may lose some of its people's hearts. In short, this is a deal that everyone is happy with. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.